Are your headphones dead?
No.
I don't even know if my fucking shit works. Nope, I did not. I will soon this week. My mother. Oh, I just saw your message.
Yeah.
Rip.
So that's why I asked about that. Because I'm like, I'm gonna pass on him being able to view this. Let's not do that. And I know all the shit that's, you've told me that's been going on and just creepy, creepy land. I'm like, okay.
I gotta wear a hat. My head is fucking beaming with purple light right now.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
It is. Okay.
Jesus Christ. Oh, there we go. Much better. Much better.
Oh my god.
What's up, folks?
It's
Wow.
Daniel.
Adrian.
How
Sorry, a viewer. He's gonna be lurking for a bit.
all good? I'm on my work computer, so I sound kind of strange with this headset.
That's okay.
If it's too unbearable, I can always disconnect.
No,
No.
absolutely not allowed. You have to stay here.
Okay, rad. This is literally what the salespeople at my work wear, and to me, they always sound kind of tinny, like
Oof.
they're in fucking like outer space.
Oof.
It sounds like a
But it,
little bit, but like not bothersome.
yeah, it's very like I'm Ira Glass, but I'm whispering all the time.
Oof. Anyone else get chills? Oof. I'm whispering.
Early. Oh God.
Ugh.
Yeah, and then my camera always is kind of broken. Nice start. Oh God, and it looks so strange. Um, in this, I set it up. Lights, gamer lights,
I love him.
they're here.
The webcam's all shifted, and now it looks like Daniel is the host because he's got my little one like viewer counter next to him.
Oh yeah. What happens when everyone has different names? So it's like we're always in the same order when we have everyone, and then of
Yes.
course Chip
Uh,
shows up in the middle unless you hide him.
yes, which I, having played with y'all for like almost 2 years, I just figured that out.
Yeah, that you can you can hide him.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
Brad.
Ooh,
all
Chip.
good.
Yeah, you can hide Chip. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, it's like the little three
Oh,
button menu in the top. You can do uh, hide participants without a video. So then he disappears.
Oh, bye.
Yeah, and let me know if I just cut out because I don't have the app on
That is a okay.
my yeah, on my work computer.
So are you like working?
I just have I was slash am working
Uh huh.
late just because I started super late in the day, so then I just work
Mm.
late, and I have a project that I have to finish like storyboards for, and it's more than halfway. Um, but they're rough, and it's like I started midway through because I knew like I had the vision for like about 2/3 of it, and then I've got 5 boards where I can't just use like stock footage as sort of placeholder.
Mm.
And I'm like, well, I gotta like basically do like some fake UI. Uh,
Ooh.
People don't want to hear about my work. They're not here for that.
I think
What are
they,
they?
I think they
What are
do.
they here for, Seth?
You hear me when I talk?
Now.
Yes.
Oh, weird. Discord was like, we can't hear you. I'm like, I'm not talking.
I'm not talking. Let's see. Tonight we were talking about.
Yeah, we got an agenda.
We do have an agenda. I'm gonna just move the entire party. Ooh, how bad does that look? How distorted does that look if I stretch the entire screen? Not my best. It's just all backwards. Fuck it, whatever. Hello, greetings,
We're
Earthlings.
Streamers here.
Yeah, who gives a shit, really? Who cares? They're not here for. Well, maybe they're here for everything to be perfect, but I'm not perfect. They should write a song about
Amen.
not being perfect.
Man, brother.
Tonight we are going to discuss our session last week because I'm stupid and had to go to work and went to a state that has Walmart connection. So
Connecticut.
stupid, poopy,
For
dumb.
sure, fine. It's not even Walmart. I wouldn't even give it that.
Fucking Kmart connection for sure. Rest in peace, Kmart. I also, before we get started, wanted to express how excited I am to share with you all firsthand that I have bought some custom overlays for our Discord. So we are gonna look awesome.
Hey. Yeah, that's sick.
I tried to get them started and ready for tonight, but I am not smart.
Someone had to make dinner.
Yeah, I had to make dinner, and my headphone jack broke, and so I had to run to Walmart and get another one. And I didn't have enough time to set it up, so I'm real mad.
Yeah.
But
All good.
hopefully for Monday, allegedly, hopefully, it will be good to go.
That's gonna be rad. I'm stoked. I'm stoked to see that, man.
I kind of just bought. I looked at like 6 or 8 of them, and I was super nervous because I've never used overlays before. Like, other than like having the.
Just have like the counter on this
Yes.
somewhere, right?
Yeah, that's super easy to do, but having to like, I was looking up a YouTube tutorial and like you have to crop every webcam and like add different shit, and I was like, I thought it was gonna be super easy to do, like real quick.
Yeah. I did it for just a little bit when I was doing freelance animation because I wanted to just like stream while I was working to
Mhm.
like just show people animation process. And I had the similar thing with the app being like, oh, you have to like crop portions of your screen if it's this big, and you can make it only look at certain things and not look at other windows. But then there's like hotkeys and buttons that you do to switch back and forth.
Yeah, I wasn't
And I was
prepared.
just like, I'm not. I give up.
Yeah, like I looked at the YouTube video and like, of course, everyone has their own method of fucking doing it, and I want something cheap, inexpensive, and easy to do. And oh, someone says, "Hey, functioning internet." Yes, sir. Um, yeah,
I love
and
to see it.
all of the YouTube videos that I saw were like, "Yeah, if you just pay $9.99 a month, you can get this subscription to whatever software, and you can do whatever the fuck you want." And I was like, "Nope,
Hard pass.
hard pass. I don't want to pay anybody anything, but I will pay $9 on an Etsy site for some funky overlays."
Yeah. Hey,
One
yeah,
time.
we love to support an indie artist.
Yes, 100%.
Artists supporting artists.
Yep, artists supporting artists. So you're an artist. Etsy is elite, says Lettuce. 100%. Lettuce, if it sounds dog shit, let me know. I very quickly just fixed everything right before this, so if it sounds like dog shit, you've been around long enough, you can let me know. The Fallout themed knickknacks. Oh, you can find anything on Etsy for sure. Okay, so last we left off, fuck. Zephyrus, Hallie and I, our characters, had sort of come to from our gauntlets. And okay, so let me back up. Let me pause real quick.
Mhm.
Daniel, when we go into our gauntlets,
Yes.
are we projected into a different dimension, or would you call this like being like pressed into our subconscious? Like,
So the wellspring, it was basically it was a mental like endurance challenge.
mm-hmm.
So it was more like your body stayed where it was, but then your mind was transported to a demi plane.
Okay,
Like mechanically, you were sort of like mind and soul were separated from your body, um, and then you're experiencing the gauntlet in your mind, but it's um, each person was having like an individual gauntlet, unless you went together, which people did
sure.
uh, later on. Yeah.
Awesome. I tried to explain. So I did record an hour-long video in my car after
Mhm.
our session and tried to upload it to Twitch. And Lettuce, one of the viewers that's here right now, attempted to watch, but to no avail. And I got the whole summary from Twitch saying that like it was an hour long and this were how many viewers and stuff like that. And then I got onto Twitch on my laptop and the video was gone.
Oh.
So because I wanted to deep dive through it, so
Mhm.
I was very upset. So I then recorded a different video, also in my car, to upload to YouTube.
You see the pattern?
To upload,
Oh no.
yeah, and that video also got corrupted.
Wait. Don't tell me. I know what happened.
So here we are, an entire week later, because I was like, oh shit, I can't do it tonight, but I will do it tomorrow, and it just did not. It wasn't great. Um, and I tried to explain in the video, like, I really went on a deep dive on what the liquid in the wellspring is, and I don't know why my mind got stuck on it. But could you like describe
The water, not water.
the water, not water?
Yeah.
I said that in the video. I was like, it's not water, but you do get wet when you're.
Yes.
Daniel's like, so you go into the water, not water. We're like,
Yeah,
what?
because I didn't have a word for it. It was just the wellspring.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't. It's basically it's not water. It just sort of looks like it
Mm-hmm.
because it is the physical manifestation of magic in
Okay.
Feywild. So it pours off of the edge of this like floating disc, and it saturates the like lands below it
Mm-hmm.
as this like floating island, like basically just like goes all over the Feywild.
Okay.
So it's not,
It has
yeah, it's not water, and it has basically like pure magic in it. Uh, and so it took me literally until like the session where we were wrapping up to look up. I was like, what does the pure essence of or something? And it was like lots of like synonyms, and there's just a word for it, which is quintessence.
I like
And it
that.
was
that's
just
the
like,
word you.
yeah, and it was like, yeah, that's from fucking not She-Ra, Voltron. They have quintessence in that
Ah,
as well. And so like immediately I was like, fuck, yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's like purified essence.
water, not
So,
water.
but not, yeah, so the water not water is quintessence, and it acts or acted for you guys sort of like a non-Newtonian liquid, like it would like sort of like pushed back as you stepped into it and burned you guys doing just a little bit of damage.
Sure.
Because your bodies were being basically like pulled apart by magic until you were fully submerged.
Gotcha. Oop,
Yeah.
squeezed my dog's
Yeah.
chew toy. Okay, because I got stuck on that for a while, and
Mhm.
I was like, it's like water, but not. It's like mud, and I think I
Yeah.
equated it to like sludge, which isn't a great word.
It has the physical properties of water because it's affected by gravity
Mhm.
Yep.
and it flows, but
Yeah.
you can't touch it or grab it. It's
Yeah. It's a liquid.
shimmery.
Yeah, it's a liquid, sort of. It's very much like mercury
Yes,
moving.
mercury.
Like if you picked it up, it would just move around,
Yes.
sort of like that. Yeah.
Because I think we talked about that at the end of
Or
the
oobleck.
session. Oobleck. Oh, what a word.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I think Micah, because you guys like picked it up by like the handful and poured it over the petrified people
mhm.
Yeah.
and unpetrified them, and Micah put some in, I guess rocks like water skin or something.
Yeah.
They have that,
Yeah.
um, just like with
In my
them.
in my mind, I kind of equated it to like a cloud. Like I know it's not like water vapor, but it's almost like a
Mhm.
vapor that you can see. Like you can push it around, but you can't like
Mm.
Yeah,
be
yeah.
submerged in it really.
Yeah, my visual of it, sort of like my original description, was very much like it looks like when you're underwater and you're looking up at the surface of the water.
Yeah.
So it's like this strange flipped
Weird.
imagery of like you can see through it, but it does have like very much like a misty, like
That's cool.
undulating quality
There's
to it
some
as it's.
like places in Zelda that like as you're like doing certain things and you look up and it's just like it's almost like Castle in the Sky. I don't know if you've ever they have a
Ooh.
couple scenes that
Yes.
are like that when you look up and you're like in the pond kind of, but you're not in water. It's very odd
Yeah.
and displacing.
I gotta
Yeah.
grab a
I
bow
I
charger. I'll be right back.
yeah.
You keep talking.
All
Okay.
good. I did actually literally I watched Capsule in the Sky before writing the Wellspring arc in its entirety.
Okay. That
So there
makes
was a
sense.
lot of, yes, there was a lot of stuff where I had some ideas to do like nature phenomenon, sort of like when they were going in, it was like a big storm
Yeah.
around the
Yeah.
wellspring itself.
Yeah.
Uh, but then I changed it and had it just be the stepstones instead. So it was more
Hmm.
whimsical than just like you get in a skyship and uh, try and survive this like crazy weather,
Yeah.
like they do in Castle in the Sky. Because it was like, oh, that could be a really cool mechanic,
Yep.
like environmental encounter. With
Right.
some like I had some ideas for elementals and some weird like
Mm,
fairy uh like creatures that like lived inside the storm.
that's
Uh
cool. Oh, that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Just
but
give
it
me an
was
iron golem, Daniel. Come on.
yeah,
Yeah, just
it
do
just
that.
didn't work out because it was too violent for what the Feywild
Yeah.
was going to be,
Yeah. True.
was the thing.
I feel like the
And
Feywild can
that's
be
why I
pretty
sort of,
pretty violent.
yeah, I wanted to be more whimsy because I knew
Yeah.
this next part where you guys are currently, where we sort of ended this last session, is you're in forever, which is the lands beyond the Feywild where all the like
Simple.
monstrous
Easy.
creatures and aberrations and
Mm.
things that were sort of the like uh, mistakes that the gods made when they made the Feywild were basically pushed out and live in this weird land beyond sort of like the boundaries of the uh, other Feywild court. That's where you guys have just ended up. Um, that like
Yes.
pouring rain, the courtyard of this like sort of ruined castle.
Yeah. Let's see. We had our
That
encounter
was
with Camilla. That was kind of the big thing with last session,
Yeah,
yeah.
which was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
It was killer.
yeah. That was
Wasn't
yeah.
it though?
It was. I
You
wanted to kill her for so fucking long. You have no idea.
yeah, yeah.
You want to kill most things for so long.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's
you
just
can't.
Seth, I think, in D&D. Like he knows like I
You're
don't know why
violent
he is me. I don't know why I referred to myself as he,
is
but uh
Yeah. Seth the player and Grog the character, they're two
yes.
entities, but they overlap a lot.
We are
in many ways.
same, but different.
Yeah.
Same,
Uh
same, but same, same.
yeah. Uh when we as a party kind of collectively, or I think it was Rock, first picked up that like shit was weird, the vibes were off, I was like, yeah, she needs to fucking go. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
they
then
were off.
oh yeah, when Grog found out that she was a fiend, all bets were off, baby. I was like, she's dead. I don't give a fuck who she is. So I'll back up.
Yeah.
Uh, is this inner? Oh, my friend Ryan says, is this inner party drama? No. This is just us going. This is Seth, Ryan going over how I behave in D&D.
But it's a fiend that we're talking about that we were fighting.
And we're talking about
Yeah.
an NPC that we encountered, which when we kind of realized that she had her own goals, I was like, yeah, she's fucking playing with this prince, dude. Like, she's got to go. She's got to go.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah. Because he was very he hasn't mentioned it to you guys except for you guys got in that sort of like shouting match altercation where you basically had Grog like grappling him. You were yelling at him and Camilla. Um, his only point of reference was basically that this human woman had given him uh, a lot of like attention that he hadn't gotten from other uh, warlocks in the past, and so it was sort of like this uh, love letter thing back and forth. And that was where he was like, "I'm gonna become human or be mortal so we can live together." And then I forget which one of you like clocked it, but it was basically that she was like rolling her eyes as he was saying that.
I think it was Rock.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it was Rock.
yeah, yeah. And Rock did the detect thoughts was the other thing. That was the first. That was yeah. That's what it was. It was the first thing a couple sessions ago where they did that and like probed her mind. And Rock got that feed of Camilla knowing or like making sure that she completed her mission, whatever her mission
Yeah.
was. That whatever she was trying to do, she basically in her mind, what Rock got was like, I can't fail this.
Yeah. Part of me
Yeah.
really wants to know what her mission was, but at the same time, like, I don't care. She's fucking gone.
Yeah.
What a Grog response.
Yeah, like, I don't
Yeah.
care. She's fucking dead, dude. She's gone.
Yeah. I mean, she had
Detriment.
her parting words to you guys,
Oh, I
but
blacked those out.
yeah.
Dude, you said fiend, and I saw red. So part of Grog's, for those of you at home who don't know, Grog is a Path of the Ancestral Guardian Barbarian with a multi-class in Paladin. I don't know how that fucking salad came to be, but that's what I've got. And as part of his Paladin abilities, they can detect good and evil in people. And this is where this kind of fucking started, because Rock was like, "Hey, this lady is up to some shit," and Grog was like, "All right, I gotta figure out like what that means." What's his paladin oath again? Oh shit.
I believe we did Oath of Glory.
Yes, I think that's right.
Yeah, which is from Mythic Odyssey of Theos.
Yep.
Um,
I'm pulling up my character sheet right now, so I'm
yeah.
multitasking. Um,
Mhm.
so yes, his ability to detect good and evil in people. It also triggers if he can detect fey, fiends, and undead. I think, and so her being a fiend, I was like, oh shit, and the fucking the fucking axe came out and I started swinging. Let me go character sheet. Do 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 do. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
things escalated uh, quickly.
Yes. When Grog kind of clocked that, I think I I'm trying to remember a week ago, and I am terrible at
I
that.
also cast Augury.
Yes, you did. Yeah,
Mhm.
that was fucking kick ass. Um,
Yeah, our first use of that, I think. That was
Mhm.
a new spell in play.
Yep.
um,
Was new. Didn't I mean we got sort of an inconclusive result though, so it was like good and bad.
I can't remember. What does that
So
do
Yeah.
again?
it can predict a course of action,
Oh,
depending on like it's like weal or woe.
Mhm.
Um, so but it can be both, and it was.
oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it wasn't all bad, so that was the
It wasn't all
it's like
bad.
all right. All right, we can get some good out of this.
Okay, let me. I'm almost there. I'm almost there.
Yeah, because that was the thing. It's an
Oath of Conquest. Is that what we said?
it was kind of up to Rog whether he wanted to do Conquest or Glory. I did buy uh Mythic Odyssey of Theos for that because I think
Maybe.
we went back and forth
Maybe
on
we didn't. Maybe
um
I didn't settle on it. I can't remember.
yeah. I mean up to you, really.
Now's the time to do it.
But yeah, Augury is a divination spell. And it's
Yep.
one of the lower level. It's only third
Yeah, I've
level.
had it for a while.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So the lower level ones, you're gonna get stuff like where it's just like wheel or woe. Um, and unless it's something like very concrete
Yeah.
for that, where it's like if I kill this fiend, is it gonna be good or bad? And it's like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Could be.
attacking a fiend,
It's like
there's
It's
the
gonna be good
magic
and
eight
bad results.
ball.
it's all
Could
yeah.
be.
Yeah,
Should we
but if
attack the
you're
fiend?
yeah,
Yes.
Ask
but
again tomorrow.
yeah, and using divination spells for things outside of that,
Yeah.
um, I think in a like game and they always come with some interesting like GM thinking on their feet when it's like, hey, I want to do augury on like uh, like opening this door specifically, and it's like, well, it's trapped, so whoa. You're like,
So
well,
someone said in the chat, reply hazy, try again later.
yeah,
Yeah.
for real. So
uh
you're gonna get those mixed results with divination stuff unless it's something like oddly specific.
mhm.
Mm.
uh
Okay, so the more
also
you're specific with it. Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
hi Will. Our friend Will is in the chat. Um
Will,
Will.
Hi, Will.
Hi Will.
I will.
Will? Also, for another going off of Haley's comment about firsts, Grog being a barbarian, you would think he would attack recklessly all the time, but he likes to compose himself. Oh, and Hallie's here. Hallie is in the chat.
Wow.
She's
Oh,
not
because
in.
they're probably hanging out tonight.
She doesn't want to join the fucking Discord. Whatever. Whatever.
She might.
It's whatever. Because I think I talked about this in the car video that I made that will probably never be fucking figured out. But a lot has happened to the party in the last like few hours, and I kind of talked about that in the session. I was like, so how long were we like in our gauntlet? And I think Daniel described it as like if you if you felt like you were in there for hours, you were probably in there for hours.
Minutes.
Yes. The entire encounter in world. Are you talking about the Wellspring gauntlets or the entire time that you were on the stepstones?
In your gauntlet, like Grog's.
Yeah, in the gauntlet, it was basically a like one sort of like a 1 minute in your mind was like an hour in the
Holy fuck.
uh in the thing. And so each round that we did that, I was counting it like 6-ish seconds.
Yeah.
And so sort of the back and forth with people going at the same time versus going after one another, it pushed it to about like 2 hours in
real life.
In world versus like in the gauntlet.
Yeah. So going
Ariel.
Yeah. So going back to Grog's reckless behavior, he learned a lot in the span of a few minutes or hours about himself, and he just when he discovered that this bitch was a fiend, he just fucking went off. I think when he realized, also for the people at home, if you haven't watched yet, you should go to our YouTube channel, which is weird to say out loud, and watch Grog's Gauntlet, because there's some fucking key info in there.
Grog's Gauntlet.
Grog's Gauntlet.
Yeah.
If only we had started recording these earlier, I will say this would make a lot more sense to people back home. But anyway, let's see. What did he figure out? He figured out who the avatar was, which I have the fucking picture. This bitch. He was like in his
shout out to Sorry Hat on Twitter and Instagram.
Oh my gosh.
I love their artwork, and they do some really grungy, cool stuff like that. And I've used a lot of their artwork as inspiration for NPC descriptions.
That is fucking disgusting.
Crazy.
I don't want to.
Nuts.
I don't want to fight that.
Nope.
So.
Nope. I will pass.
So yeah, I will. I will forfeit. This contest. So when. Wait, is this like a DBZ training thing where he trains for years in a pocket dimension? Kind of like Grog.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, kind of. It's kind of like when Naruto talks to Kamirama, the nine-tailed fox spirit, and they like, become besties. Anyway, so he figured out who the Avatar was, and he realized that the mission that he was sent on way back, like 20 or 30 years ago, his memory of that had been altered. And instead of closing this rift that opened up and releasing all these monsters and fiends, he fucking saw this thing, which is nuts. So
yeah,
for like 20 years, his entire for 20 years his life has been a lie, and then also his quest to cure his lycanthropy kind of curse also was a thing, and then on top of that shit, he found out his fucking wife died.
I have a wife?
I have a wife? So, when Grog found out that Camilla was a fiend, that really, I think, fucking solidified in his brain that he just saw red. He went Incredible Hulk on that bitch. He did. I think I described it as when I use that ability, that paladin ability, chat, I kind of described he opens
Which
up...
ability is it?
Which ability is it? It's something. Why do you have to fucking ask me, Haley? Christ, I don't
Sorry.
remember.
I just thought it would get
Hashtag
better
know your
context.
character.
Divine Sense. That's what it's called.
There we go.
Thank you from the back.
The front. I'm right here.
Whatever. This place sucks. This is all terrible. And he discovered how evil she was. He kind of had like a. He just saw images of the avatar of Camilla as a fiend, and then also like images of his wife, and I think that really just fucking took over, and he just went aggro, full on Incredible Hulk. He did equip the cursed weapon Fabane, which I am really trying to remember how the fuck we came into contact with that, and like in my other video, I was trying to figure out where the fuck we came into contact with it, and I can't remember.
So that was an early stepstone. And for the folks at home, the stepstones were basically a series of
Challenges?
sort of floating islands that orbited the wellspring, which was this central one. And each one had some weird sort of like puzzle or combat or kind of magical encounter that the party went through.
Mm-hmm.
And they picked up Fabane from an encounter with. It was basically a spirit of the person who created the weapon that was trapped in sort of an endless death loop. But you defeated, finished, or you figured it out basically, and the only thing that was left was Daybane, this cursed axe.
I kind of want to read the description for people.
It's long. It's long.
It's long, so this is fine. For the people at home, they can just sit and listen.
I'll be right back.
Oh shit! I don't have it in my fucking inventory anymore.
Yeah,
Balls.
you can just add it back.
That's true.
It's fine that it's there. I don't know that
here it is.
Ada has put it in her inventory yet.
Yes, and before I read this, I just want to let the audience know. Will says, I'm already sitting and listening. For the folks at home, before we had this encounter with Camilla, the whole point of this weapon is that it was a weapon of war. It was fully destined and created to kill Fey creatures, Fey beings, all of that stuff. So when Grog found it and Ada, our friend Stella, explained that to Grog, I think they initially made a promise that we would never use it, and that we would either try to destroy it or fucking it belongs in a museum, Indiana Jones style. We were really just trying to figure that out as to like what to do with it. I think the overarching point was that it needs to be destroyed so that no one else can use it.
Sort of a one-to-one comparison for like our world reference. I mean, you'll kind of pick it up in the description, but it's basically like a handheld nuclear device, which is why having it lost after it was used to kill the Archfey ruler of the Autumn Court many years before this encounter. It's bad news. And if you've got the description up, folks will understand why.
Yeah. So Fabane is a legendary hand axe. It is forged by a Badgerfolk blacksmith in a frozen volcano. This axe carries the malice and hatred of one who was wronged. The blacksmith killed King Adrin, the royal archfey of the Autumn Court. With this weapon, the blacksmith disappeared with this axe shortly after when the court fell into a civil war, and his name was erased. After destroying his spirit that was trapped on the stepstones, only the axe of the Kingslayer remains. When using this weapon, you gain a +3 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with this magic weapon. In addition, while you are attuned to this weapon, your hit point maximum increases by 1 for each level you have attained. It is a cursed weapon, so this axe is cursed, and becoming attuned to it extends the curse to you. As long as you remain cursed, you are unwilling to part with the axe, keeping it within reach at all times. You also have disadvantage on attack rolls with weapons other than this one. You may only end your attunement to Feybane by the use of Remove Curse spell or an equivalently powerful magical means. There's also a different section called Forged with Hatred. While attuned to Feybane, you must succeed on a DC 15 Wisdom saving throw or use your action each round to attack the Archfey nearest to you with the axe. That is an important note that I'll get into after this. If you can make an extra attack as part of the attack action, you use those extra attacks, moving to attack the next nearest Archfey after you fell your current target. If you have multiple possible targets, you attack one at random. You must continue to attack until you start your turn with no Archfey within 60 feet of you that you can see. Made to kill. There was no love in making this instrument of war. Feybane can only do lethal damage. Execution. On a critical hit, any creature native to the Feywild with less than 100 hit points is decapitated and killed. If the creature has more than one head or no head, critical damage is done normally and only one head is removed. Returning weapon. The axe returns to your hand immediately after being thrown to make a ranged attack. And then Odious Aura? People appear...
Odious Aura.
Odious Aura.
Yeah.
People appear uneasy around you while you are attuned to Feybane. You have disadvantage on Charisma or Persuasion checks, but have advantage on being charmed. And then I just want to kind of quickly go over the damage type. It does 1d6 plus 6, and then an additional 2d10 of cold damage. So this thing's a fucking beast.
Yeah.
It's a bitch.
And so the thing that Ada sort of explained was that this weapon was made specifically to kill Archfey, who in Salandran, which is our game world, their Archfey are the sort of immortal Fey that live in the Feywild, and there are royal Archfey, just one monarch in each of the ports, and to kill them is nigh impossible unless you have some incredibly powerful magical weapon that you forge with hatred and malice. So that's the weapon like this being made, and then just walking around with it. It's not a great look. If you just had this on your hip, it's very much like this dude's just walking around with like a missile launcher or something in Times Square. Like no one is going to be happy to see this thing.
Yeah.
Someone parading around with it.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So yeah. That's kind and also too, like, when I think right before the encounter with Camilla, Grog had fucking devised that this bitch was evil, and in order to get him away, the prince away from Camilla, I fucking attacked him with Feybane, because I knew, because Stella told me, or Ada told me, like, hey, if anyone from the Feywild sees this shit on you, they will be aggro. And I said, bet, duly noted.
Yep, and that's what happened. The prince immediately attacked you.
Yep, he immediately went in for the kill, and I said, all right, awesome. Which I think everyone was kind of pissed. But also, like,
yeah, that was our first time having a lot of like inter-party drama where I just sat back and just ate popcorn.
You're like, all right, cool. I'll just be over here.
Yep.
But I I think we figured it out.
Yeah, it was very much like the DM sweat moment there, because I was only able to tell you because you hadn't attuned to it that this axe has +3 to attack and damage, but it has other magical properties, and you were like, oh, okay. And then you were like, I attack with this, and I was like,
like, are you
oh
sure?
boy. Uh, yeah, and I think I did the little DM nod of like, are you sure about that? Um, but we moved forward, and I was basically just waiting for a crit or waiting for his hit points to drop to 0. Because that could have been bad.
It could have been bad.
Because yeah, because the parties literally their current uh mission or quest is to return the prince alive to the capital of the Winter Court, to the Queen of Air and Darkness, the monarch of the Winter Court, and attacking the prince that you're supposed to uh, bring back alive would be difficult if
Yeah.
you, yeah, landed the killing blow with Daybane.
Listen, it wasn't Grog's finest moment, okay?
Hmm.
Will also said, lol, always a good sign when the DM asks if you're really sure. Like, are you positive you really want to do that?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
That's a sign.
yeah, yeah.
It's the little DM like winking a nod that uh,
It's the angel
if you're a,
DM on my shoulder. Like, are you positive?
yeah, being like
Like,
and those kind of things for folks if you're new to DMing, like just give that to your players if they're gonna make a course of action that's just a poor decision. Like
100%.
give them the wink and the nod. Um, don't let them, derail something entirely that's gonna just make it not fun for the rest of the group.
Yeah.
Um, that's my advice for that kind of meta thinking that people will be like, no, it's what my character would do. Like, yeah, but your character's being a dick and no one else at the table is having fun right now.
Yeah. I think that's important is like giving people the ability to have the spotlight, or different people to have the spotlight. That's what I meant. Like, I think I struggle really, really hard with main character syndrome, and I know that Grog is not the fucking main character. I just love D&D so much, and Daniel is really chill about me just fucking letting loose.
Doing whatever you want.
Yeah, and I'm like, fuck. Okay, I gotta let our more quiet and our quieter members speak up and let them do their thing. So Daniel is very good about like, all right, Haley, what do you want to do? Or like, Zelia.
Yeah.
I'm not that quiet.
No, I know, but I'm
Yeah.
using you as an example. You're here.
Okay.
Or Hallie by
do-
proxy since you're in the fucking chat.
Yeah. Biggest thing that I do that I like, or the thing that I like to use as sort of a tool for that kind of thing when when we haven't like heard from another party member for a little while,
Mhm.
I will do the like, oh, Ada or no, Zephyrus. What's Zephyrus doing as this conversation is happening?
Mhm.
So if it's not just like a verbal thing, it's like, what are the rest of the party see like off to the side, this other character who's not entirely engaged in like the full conversation, or Azealia, if she's in the middle of this conversation, it's like, what is she thinking about in this moment? Um,
Really very
and
helpful because sometimes it's weird to like know when to jump in or
Mhm.
feel like how you fit into the equation, and you're just kind of like, I would be a bystander, but yeah.
yeah, and it's especially tricky uh in remote games, in my opinion,
Yeah.
Mhm.
because when you're
Very
in
true.
person, it's much easier to like talk over each other and have the table talk.
Yep.
But this, which we've been doing for a long time, it's definitely more difficult to have those things. So it's very much like sort of the mediating between like beats in a conversation. So would suggest if you're gonna play online, know that the RP sections are a little like up and down. It's not incredibly smooth.
Yeah.
Like it is sort of like in an in-person thing. Because
100%.
the bigger the
Yeah.
party, that's that many more people in the Zoom
Yep.
call.
100%. I was actually watching a bunch of TikTok videos recently. TikTok is great and also an evil because
The worst.
it's the worst, but the best too. Because I get so much D&D content and so many good ideas from them. Like, there's a D&D content creator that I watch, and like he does like a daily D&D tip, and it can be about gameplay, it can be about like the party, session zeros, like all that stuff. And like they said that if you have someone in your party that is more of a recluse or is very quiet, and they're like awkward or like they don't know what to do, asking them like kind of what Daniel said, like what does your what do you do in that moment, or looking at their character's like inventory sheet and just looking at like what would your character do in this situation given the like your inventory, like if you had to cross a stream, what would you use in your pack, essentially trying to get them to be more creative. Because again, if you have someone who suffers from main character syndrome like me, or is a high functioning golden retriever and doesn't know when to shut the fuck up,
It's you.
this is a good way to get them to participate. Will says the delay from remote games can be rough for sure. Yeah, it can be. Because like we want everyone to have the spotlight and like to enjoy the game, right?
That could be a good DM.
I would not. I
think so.
I have too many good and bad ideas.
That's true. You go off on tangents.
And in doing my podcasting shit, I hate listening to myself. So there's that. So I definitely feel for Daniel. I can't keep a coherent thought in my brain for for more than a minute. Otherwise, I go off the fucking deep end. So yeah. Shit.
But story building, though.
Story building, 100%. I literally texted Daniel. I made fucking Aang from the last Avatar in D&D Beyond, and I was like, hey, that'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
Oh my god.
Not that, like, because I always come up with contingency plans for my character to die, which is good.
I know.
It's good, chat, and it's bad, because you don't want your character to die, but you know it's fucking D&D, and shit's gonna go down.
I have a backup plan.
I am fully prepared for this Medusa next week to fuck our shit.
Well, we haven't talked about that yet, so continue to talk about our session.
Yes. Thank you for keeping me on track. So after Grog absolutely fucking decimated this bitch, first of all, the whole interaction as a whole, before I go on to that, was fucking awesome. We figured out that Camilla is in fact a fiend. She had for the abilities that we saw for a brief moment were very cool. What really sucks is that our group is very powerful. And it doesn't give Daniel a lot of time to do the cool shit that he has done for his characters. Which is good for us, for our characters, but like mentally, like I want our shit to get absolutely fucking rocked. I want that to be just thrown out into the. I want us to get nervous. I want Grog to get absolutely fucked up. No, he needs to know this. He needs to know, and the world needs to know that Daddy DMs have the ability to fuck the party shit.
Yeah,
He's trying.
I've had a contingency for if one of you dies. because that was kind of an early thing where it was like if one person dies, I have a
Mhm.
contingency. At this point, I do have like fully a contingency in place for like a TPK.
Hell yeah.
If that happens at some point.
What is that?
Uh,
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, what can you go
it,
into detail
oh,
about what that is?
I don't know what that is.
do you mean contingency or a
Oh,
TPK?
TPK.
That is a total party kill.
Oh, good. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Mm.
So that is a common sort of uh, shorthand for either the
Sure.
DM fucked up and like rolled a bunch of crits, or the
Mm-hmm.
party the healer went down accidentally in the first round, and
Mm.
you have like a rogue and a wizard and a fighter left, and you're just like, fuck, the cleric's down.
They're fine.
We don't have any healing.
Where are the
Uh,
bards? We have no bards.
yeah, and yeah, no, suddenly no healing word.
Minor.
But yeah, uh, it's it's a thing that can uh happen and go south really quickly. But like you were saying, the encounter went incredibly fast, mostly because you guys, if everyone attacks or does some kind of attack instead of like a healing thing or a buff, a utility, the party can deal about 100 points of damage
Sick.
in a round. If
Fuck
no
yeah.
one, yeah, that's like if everyone hits like average-ish damage, you can you're clearing 100 points of damage.
Earth
Um,
Lettuce commented, "Healing is for nerds," and I am
healing
not
is
stirring the pot. Fuck you.
yeah. Healing is for nerds. Healing is for when you have uh more than uh when you don't truly when you don't have a barbarian and when you don't have uh a huge party. Um that's when having a healer, cleric or a druid, um bard maybe, or a paladin
And
maybe ish
yeah,
can heal, but like
Yeah.
you got a 3-person party, you gotta have a druid, gotta have a cleric, somebody in that, or you're going to be spending a boatload of gold on potions
remember to always take your clerics.
every
Not
time.
like 7 bards. Come on. I feel
Lettuce
like
Yeah,
that's really the way to go.
Lettuce goes, remember to always take your clerics for granted. Do not acknowledge their contributions or it will go straight to their head. I
Oh
will
my
say
god.
for our party, I think we're pretty, not healer heavy, but we have, like, they are on the field. Like,
We have
Grog,
stuff. Yeah.
Grog
yeah,
is technically a healer. Uh, Ada is technically, she's a cleric, right? Like, she's just straight up a cleric and something else.
yeah. She's a grave cleric too, so her
Yeah.
biggest thing that it obviously it hasn't come into play because it's very hard for me to knock you guys out.
Hmm.
Grave clerics have an amazing thing that I didn't realize until I was looking at it. They can cast they know the cantrip Spare the Dying, which
Woof.
will stabilize uh, uh, a creature if they're in death saves. And with a Grave Cleric, she can cast it at 30 feet, or it's usually a
Oh
touch
shit.
spell.
Yup.
So just an
Oh, I didn't know that.
action, and it's a cantrip from 30 feet away. She can just
Boop.
stop someone from uh,
That's cool.
rolling death saves,
Because
which
I
is like
Hmm.
wild.
all of Grog's
Um,
healing stuff is like I have to touch you.
yeah, yeah. That's the thing with healing spells, unless it's the like mass healing word or healing aura that you
Mm.
got to
I can.
concentrate on.
Those are the ones that
Um,
I do.
yeah, where you got to like concentrate on it, and then every round you can be like, okay, this person gets a little bit of
Yeah.
heals, and then you have your the rest of your turn. But you got to either coordinate with your party or know that
Yeah.
this
Yep.
round I'm gonna concentrate on doing damage. I'm gonna be the person who's gonna be healing because
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Rock just took 27 points of damage, and we play with massive damage rules now. After you guys hit level 5, which for the folks at home, massive damage is a variable or an I forget what it's called. Uh, it's a rule in the DMG that's like optional. That is basically if you take damage from one source, so basically one creature uh, that is greater than half your hit points, you roll for this system shock table that's in there.
Mhm.
And the worst thing that can happen is you drop to 0 and you start making death saves like immediately. And the best is just like you can't take reactions.
Yeah.
And we started doing that, and it's pretty lethal. But I have basically a little chart for myself to know like if I hit this threshold, it's from one source. So all these creatures that have multi-attack, uh, if someone like stabs you 3 times with their multi-attack, but that total, each one tallies up. Azalea's got, I think her marker is like if Azealia gets hit for like 26 or more damage, um, that's like system shock, but that would have to be like basically 3 hits at least, or like 2 hits from the Fomorian that you guys just went up
Mhm.
against
Yeah.
um, to do that. And Grog is almost impossible to take down
Fuck yeah.
while raging because the math for that is fucking bonkers. That would have to do literally 80 points of damage if it is like the bludgeoning, piercing,
All
or
right.
slashing.
You just got to be a
Uh,
tank, baby. Like that's what we
yeah,
needed. And I think going from contemporary like video games and like having like your character roles, like for example, Overwatch. Like for the people at home, you've got your DPS, which is your damage per second. You've got your support or your healer characters, and then you've got your flex. And when I joined, I was like, okay, our group's pretty fucking squishy. Um,
incredibly squishy. Yeah.
Paladins and fighters wear
Hey,
heavy
hey!
armor for maximum defense. Barbarians equals angry. Oh, 100%. So I was like, okay, they're pretty squishy, and like when you get up in levels, like you'll do obviously like more damage and stuff, but like barbarians are fucking nasty. Like they can be tanky, they can be up in the face of everybody else and kind of take the damage. And then that really got pushed forward when he took levels in paladin because he gets all of these fucking extra abilities and stuff like that. So I
Yep.
took my knowledge of video games and D&D and I was like, I gotta be somebody who's tanky but can deal damage. Because otherwise,
Yeah.
we're gonna be, and that's a whole other thing that I'll get into in just a second. Otherwise, we'll all be dead. And going back
And
to your,
Steph's like, if it has to be me,
and
I
yeah,
guess.
seriously,
If
I
it
like
has
guess.
to, I will suffer this burden.
I will
Oh no, I will bear this cross. I will don the heavy armor and
absolutely,
get hacked around in the front
I
lines.
will
Yeah.
do it.
I
I will
will
do
do
it.
it because
I'll take one for the
and
team.
going back to Daniel's contingency for players dying, like I remember playing a campaign and everyone's level 1 and then someone dies and it's like, well,
Yeah.
you're squishy as fuck even if you are a paladin. So, having those contingencies to either bring them back or introducing another character in some way or whatever, because like we've been playing these characters for a long ass time and like I get invested, and as much as I want Grog to live forever and reach level 20, Daniel at some point is going to fuck our shit, and like he won't be enough to deal with Daniel's creative
Yeah.
mind.
I mean, I already gave you guys that little peek behind the screen, but for uh other
I'm gonna fill
current
up my
DMs
water.
or
I'll be right back.
would be DMs, when you get a really high CR enemy prepped and ready, like I have for you guys to go up against, because the party ended in the courtyard of this Medusa's castle that you're
Yeah.
in the middle of this courtyard. We ended with sort of an anime uh like cutscene cliffhanger where this Fomorian who's like at half health is running towards uh the like main doors of the great hall of this like sort of
Yeah.
ruined keep, and one of the NPC followers had told you guys like, oh, she like is in the top of the castle and she has a bunch of thralls that are inside. So we did like a pause there, but doing really high CR things where they have a huge stat block. What I have started doing, and I had to do it a little while ago, was when I started doing it for a, a fight like a couple months ago now. But I use a program called Millinote, which is just a browser thing, but it allows you to make flowcharts.
Oh,
Huh.
I use
Uh,
Millet. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and
I know what that
so
is.
yeah, Millinote is it's great for creative stuff because you can do a lot of like flowcharts and interior stuff. That's what I originally used it for.
Yeah,
And then found that it's also really great because you can set it up where it's like, okay, layer actions, these things should happen instead of you just have like a sheet of paper or like the stat block on D&D Beyond that just has all their abilities. Uh,
yeah,
but the thing is like you guys know your characters like the back of your hand because you've been playing them forever. You're a DM, you can pick up like a goblin and you're like, all right, stick. They have 2 attacks, they have like 1 ability, they have uh that's it. I'm good. I can just roll dice and do this. But this Medusa, who's like the boss, is so complex that I had to I literally like sat down. Um I can actually show you at a distance. It's not gonna be visible enough for the rest of you.
From a
Literally had to
distance.
like
oh,
sit down and write notes
what? Oh my
for the stat
god.
block. Uh,
That's fucked.
and yeah, because higher CR enemies are just really complex to be able to go toe to toe with a higher level party. Um, and it's sort of how the game evolves once you get to this high tier thing. It's either like enemies that have a ton of actions and a really good action economy, or you just have fucking waves of enemies that'll do multi attack,
Right.
and then maybe a caster to try and fuck stuff up.
Lettuce says
How
there's
are you
nothing.
doing, Daniel?
Yeah. How
Are
are
you
you
doing
doing?
okay?
Yeah.
Are you enjoying it?
I am. I am so honestly, I am so amped to use this. Uh she is a monster from the Matt Colville's book, who's this fantastic game designer, and he's basically
Cool.
like one of the like granddaddy GMs who I've learned a lot of my stuff from. So a lot of monsters that he makes are these ones that have really well made game design where they're called action oriented monsters. So they actually have an action economy where you guys have multi attack and bonus actions and reactions for every one of you. This like creature, they'll have layer actions and they'll have like specific bonus actions or reactions or multi attack and abilities that they use. Um, and like it just makes it much more fun to run a monster that's like difficult for you guys to fight and fun to run even though they are like complex. It's gonna be better than just being like, all right, it's a goblin with 200 hit points and it's got some spells.
Lettuce says there's nothing more satisfying than hitting a goblin with another goblin.
Yeah.
Goblin Club.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Um, yes, and I want there to there should be at the end of this be a whole section dedicated to tips, tricks, and advice for new D&D players, DMs. That's kind of what I did in one of the other videos that
Oh
I
yeah.
did. So we will just add that to towards the end. But I want to continue on with what the fuck we did because once we killed Camilla, going back
Winks.
to kind of what the hell we're doing here, um, talking about getting off the rails and shit.
Yeah. That's on me. I'm the one that usually keeps it on the rails.
Gosh
And
darn it.
instead, I start pontificating.
But this is great.
Yeah.
Give the people what they
This
want.
is content, Daniel, that the people want.
They
and
like the
people need.
commentary.
They do. They do.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
but you guys are the heroes. This is just me talking about being a GM.
No.
Most
Dude,
We
people
couldn't be heroes without you.
this is
Yeah,
your
but
world, and
most-
we literally live in it.
Yeah, okay. But
We
most
rent.
people, categorically, most people are players. They want to hear what it's like to play higher level stuff for you guys. You get all kinds of fancy schmancy spells and cool stuff, and you've done really interesting stuff like kill my monster who was really badass and truly only disintegrated one person's weapon.
We can get you
Badly.
another staff. Haley, we can get you another staff.
Yeah,
It's okay.
find another quarterstaff,
Yeah.
or just straight up, you have other weapons. I know you've got that longbow from a long ass time ago.
You have a
I
bow?
do have. Yeah. I just never use it.
We have reach? Are you serious?
Yeah,
I have Moonbeam. Shut up.
yeah, that's the thing. It's like once you're higher level, it's like the druid using her action to shoot a bow versus casting a
Why?
fourth level spell.
True.
It's like, yeah,
True. Because when you can
Yeah.
summon fucking velociraptors.
I want another staff.
Well, you have your staff, right? It's just your quarterstaff.
My cantrip is Shillelagh. I can't do it without a staff.
yeah. You need a staff or a club.
Oh.
I think is the like rules is
Yes.
written.
Yes.
So-
That's why it was emotionally taxing to lose my staff.
Shit.
It was
Yeah.
beautiful. It's even on my Hero Forge, and it's gone.
Now you gotta update Hero Forge.
Yeah.
I do. No, because
Wow.
I'm gonna make a better one. I'm gonna have Shadow go find me some special stick, and I will
Oh,
imbue it with power.
Go ahead
you
first.
have
Daniel.
that stick, actually. You guys still have that length of Sylvan Wood.
Oh, yes.
Which you guys haven't-
okay.
Yeah. So
I have that, right?
I think so.
I think I have-
Whoever, yeah, because Shadow came back with that length of
Yes.
like Sylvan Oak.
Mm.
Right,
So, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can tell you now, if you're going to use that as a staff, it's a +1. It's basically it's magical wood.
Nice.
So
Sick.
using it as a quarterstaff, it'll just do that. But it was basically like, yeah, if someone wanted to make it into something, you can also. I will allow it to be a quarterstaff.
Damn.
I'm making a note of
Look
that.
at that. Look at that, chat. The DM. Look, we're
Yeah.
working together.
Yep. I mean, that's like my brain remembering so much stuff because that was something that literally happened in
Yeah.
January.
Yep.
That
Let me just check.
the NPC companion went off, grabbed something, gave it to them, and then I made a note
Jeez.
in my recap notes, and then I remembered it forever.
Well, for those who don't know, my character has a familiar white tiger named Shadow, and he gained that ability in January, I think that last year. Fetch, so I could tell him to just go fetch something at any time, and he could bring some cool things back. He's brought some cool things back. He drank the wellspring last time and was able to talk for a short while. You know, just tiger things.
Just tiger shit.
Just tiger things.
Wow. That should be another point that I want to talk about is like how often do you come up with cool ideas and then just forget to implement them? Like that happened a lot, I think, in other campaigns that I've been a part of where the DM is like, oh, I wrote down this really cool thing that I wanted to try, and then the night of the session, like something else happened and you didn't get to do that thing. Later, I would love to talk about that because I feel like that's a big thing with DMs and just games.
Ooh, yeah, for sure. There's
Um,
always, just to touch on that very briefly, like because we play very short sessions compared to most tables, we truly only play if everyone gets there on time and we jump right into it. We play for about 2.5 hours.
Mhm.
So I will prep for basically what I call the inciting incident. To like get the ball rolling, start off with some action to get it going, so we have like a little bit of time. So I will say, we're behind the screen. You guys haven't made me think on my feet more than I want to say, like maybe 5 or 6 times.
Gotta
In the whole
change
time
that.
I've been playing with you guys, I've been more or less prepared. There have been very
That a
minor things.
challenge?
Well, I mean,
Grog wipes out
it
the entire party.
Do you like that? Do you want more of that?
well, it's basically like if you don't do the stuff that I've sort of like seeded, I have to like make it up on the fly, and it's not
That's
gonna.
true.
If you're like, oh, we're not gonna go fight the Medusa, we're gonna walk off into the darkness, and I'm like, okay,
All right.
we're gonna we're gonna leave in the middle of the night, and we're not gonna fight this Medusa, and I'm like, cool, give me 15 minutes, uh, so I can find some monsters that are going to ambush you while you walk off in the night instead of exploring this adventure,
We would never
this
do that.
this castle.
Never.
Yeah, yeah.
Wink.
Yeah,
Wink.
I'm sure. I'm sure you would never have a group chat where you talk about the campaign and plot behind my back,
Yeah, guys,
overthrow
we should
me.
just talk and then be like, all right, Daniel, now you have to go away
Yep.
for 5 minutes and you can't be privy to our
Oh
conversation.
my God. Just
Yeah.
making the DM leave is such a fucking power move.
Hey,
That
remember
would
that
be
comment about it's your world? No, fuck you.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, no.
That would be
The
fucking that would be wild to have you just be like, "Hey, leave."
Leave. Hey, can you do me a favor and just like deafen real quick?
just don't.
Just don't listen.
Yeah. Just take off the headset, go drink some water. We're going to plot to overthrow you.
Take a
I mean,
last
I
look
never
at
thought
us.
about that as an option, but it came about because of what you were just talking about. So
That's
this is your
pretty
own
funny.
demise.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I've done that as a player, but only to like figure out like, hey, I'm new to your campaign. What the fuck do you guys have for like
Yeah.
spells and shit so I don't like step on people's toes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good for that. The meta sense of talking with your party members about what they can do is good. Don't
Mhm.
not do that because everyone wants to talk about their character. Everyone has
True.
cool shit, and even though the rest of the party hasn't seen it, like it's cool to be like, "Oh, what can you do?" And it's like, "I can do all of this." And you're like, "We haven't seen that ever." And it's like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah." Everyone loves their character, and everyone loves to
Mm.
talk about them.
Yeah.
Like, it's yeah, it's why we're here. We're here to roll dice and make fun voices and hang out and uh you know,
Yep.
real stuff.
Yeah. Exactly. Um. Wow. What another fucking tangent. Where did we leave off? We killed Camilla.
Yes.
And then from there, so we have rescued all these civilians from their kind of statuette cryostasis rock things, um, and we set out to. I'm kind of stuck on where we are because I think after Grog killed Camilla, he blacked out, and Seth kind of blacked out too. Because I know we are in the castle or like the dilapidated ruins. Is that where we're at?
Yeah, you were in the keep
Yep.
currently. Yeah, if you have blacked out, basically you guys have landed in uh the lands of um
Forever.
Forever,
Mm-hmm.
which is like the kind of the cursed lands outside of the normal Feywild, which is where you were.
Yep.
So you basically we ended in this ruined keep with a couple of NPCs who
Yes.
the people that you saved, and then Sir Weimer Redgrave is the
Yes.
NPC who is basically the mouthpiece for the rest of them.
Yep. And I'm trying to pull up where is the picture, because I want to pull up the fucking creatures we saw. Look at that, chat. Look at those disgusting freaks. Um,
Can't see anything you're talking about.
Oh, the Fomorians,
the
yeah.
Fomorians,
Oh, yes.
the corrupted giant uh, creatures.
Yeah.
And they were kind of just like
Giants cursed by
roaming
the
around.
Fae.
Um,
Yeah, so Sir Weimer told you that basically she has uh, made sort of like a treaty
mhm.
with the giants that they're sort of like protecting her keep, and in turn, she basically will turn people into chess pieces that
Mm.
they were able to like move around. Um,
Yep.
a strange sort of like treaty between the two.
Yep. And we absolutely fucked with one of them, and the other one is on the run.
Yep.
And they're huge. Like they're like, are they?
Yeah, they're like 12 feet tall.
Yeah, they're big boys. Um,
Yep.
which when you have a druid that can fucking make people big, it's awesome because it certainly levels the playing field. I mean, Grog's
It
already
makes you
like,
how tall?
well, Grog is like 7 or 8 feet tall because
Yep.
the dimensions of D&D are weird. Because if you're 10 feet tall, you're technically considered large.
Large.
And then when you use enlarge or reduce, you double that size.
Doubles in all dimensions, yes.
Right.
Is it double?
So when Grog is 8 feet tall, he becomes 16 feet tall. I would love to just round it so Grog is 10 feet tall, but that's
I don't
not
think
how
you get that
D&D
tall.
works. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Grog's
I'm
Oh, it
pretty
does
sure
double in all dimensions.
I think I set the ceiling for Grog to be like 7 feet tall. Because if you're 8 feet tall, you're just not gonna fit
yeah, right,
anywhere. So basically, like nothing is built for you.
right.
Uh,
I've
it's
met
out.
people. I've met people who are 7 feet tall in real life, and they're fucking tall.
Yeah,
It's
like
weird.
I'm 6'5", you're 6.
Like 6 foot
Two?
or 6'1".
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like
Daniel's fucking tall.
half. Yeah, it's like a head taller than me,
Especially when
and
he wears his boots.
yeah, so it's like it's wild. And this is like a fantasy world with high fantasy. You got gnomes and halflings.
Like the
They're going to accommodate for the smaller folks and not the Goliaths that
right.
live in
The
the
mountains.
mountains. And I do try to keep the world like a little bit consistent
Yeah.
so that when you guys go places,
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, so and so, these people are like, you can't bring a tiger in here. What are you doing?
You can't
It's just an
park that
inn.
animal here.
Yeah.
Want to
Uh,
bet?
it's funny too because Rock is like 4 feet tall, 3 feet
Yeah.
Yes.
tall. He's a small little boy. So
He's just a small little dude.
yeah, he's just a guy being a dude. So that's always fun when Rock can actually like climb on top of you, and it like just a little like little. What even is
Little
he?
friend.
What is Micah's race? What is
Yeah.
Uh,
A
they,
gnome?
yeah, they're a gnome tiefling. We did a little bit of a
Yeah.
homebrew,
yeah yeah
um, for that because they wanted to do a different character.
yeah.
Um, they weren't really feeling the one that they had been playing for a while.
Which
So
was a
I said, hey,
rogue
uh,
ranger.
uh, Ranger was
Yeah.
their former character was a ranger that um, just weren't that into them
Mm,
anymore. Oh,
yeah. And that's kind of so we left off with us, um, in sort of a hallway of the keep, engaging with these hostile. Um, yep, I had the name and then lost it.
Fomorian, yeah.
Fomorians, thank you. And the second is kind of running away, probably to warn whoever is around. Is my guess. Which is fucking terrifying because I'm sure it's gonna lead to some bad shit. And I mean, yeah,
maybe. Who knows?
I can only assume it's D&D. When is shit ever good? Like, it's never not okay. And especially when we not even like allude is the wrong word. When we straight up bring up the Medusa, like we don't know when it's coming, but we can anticipate it. Which I'm fucking pumped for.
Yeah, that's gonna be sick.
Same.
Like, I am not kidding people at home and Daniel and Haley. Like, when I am at rest, when Seth is not on a Discord and he is at work.
Seth, not Grog.
Right. When Grog shuts off and Seth is on, I think about this campaign way too much. Like, I have bills to pay and a job to go to, and it's like blows that shit out of the water. Like, I have an unhealthy relationship with our campaign. I think about it a lot. Because it's just so good. It's so good. Like, it's a show or a movie I don't ever want to stop. Especially when I can play it with my friends.
Yeah. I mean, same. I've said it before to you guys, a handful of you before, that it's a lot to get to 20th level, but we're more or less on track to do that eventually. So it's not unlike it won't happen.
I mean,
and if it does, that'd be fucking rad.
If you happen to level us up just 2 more times before we encounter the Medusa, we'd be halfway. We'd be halfway to level 20.
Yeah.
So
I gotta reiterate, you hit 8th level in game yesterday. So
but
that should be easy then.
Yeah.
You're already on a roll, just keep doing it.
Well, it's so easy to just click a button.
It is super easy. What's not easy is getting you maniacs to remember that although it has been a few months for us, for your characters, you've gone to sleep one time. One time.
You have slept once. I think Grog took a nap one time. That is funny to kind of put into perspective, like, you know, when we do eventually take a long or a short rest, and like...
Oh, you did. You did. You literally just slept for the first time in literally like months.
It's just so funny. Like, I think of the people in our party, I think like half of us can heal, so like we can just get up to full. Like, granted, our spell slots may be taken away or whatever, but like we're usually at full health all the time.
To heal.
Yeah, we're usually at full health.
And eating? What is that? We never eat anything.
That's a thing that I want to talk about too. Is like,
oh, the crunch.
The crunch. Like, when
you guys want the crunch?
Like,
what's that?
Shit, like, we don't eat anything, or we like sleep, whatever.
There are DMs that are like, oh, you haven't eaten in a week. One of your party falls unconscious.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And I don't do that shit. I'm not.
You have to bathe too.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not here for the crunch. I'm here to tell a fun story with my friends.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Because realistically, to me personally, whether it be in a short or long rest, my fat ass is gonna eat. Like, when I'm not fighting, arguing, intimidating, and I'm at a campsite, I'm gonna fucking stuff my fat face. Like, I feel like I don't have to tell people, I just will do that. Like, Grog will open his fucking bag and just
grabbing a squirrel off the tree and just...
Right, he'd eat fucking rocks. I don't know. Like, he's not... Like, I don't know. He'll eat dirt. He doesn't care. So I think, like, stuff like that, it's not important. But, like, some people feel like that is. So I won't take that away from them.
Yeah.
But...
we don't... Basically, we don't do that. We don't do the crunch stuff. Because it's like... I think for, like, the handful of us that are, like, gamers, we're used to that.
Yeah.
But when half the party is just there to be like, we're hanging out, I don't want to be like, hey, Ada, how many rations do you have left?
Because also...
you've been traveling for 8 days.
We started off having
you guys...
rations.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
And that was when we did, because we did have some guys in there who were like, yeah, I'm good to do, like, the crunchy, like, keep track of inventory stuff. I was like, sweet. If you guys are into that, feel free. I'll just throw stuff at you, and you are in charge of your own inventory management simulator.
I think
that takes away from so much of the story in the game.
I think really the only thing with inventory management, the only thing that I would keep track of is 1, money, and 2, ammunition. Like, Grog doesn't really have ammunition. The only thing he really has to keep track of, which he never uses, is his fucking javelins. Like, I never throw anything. If anything, I throw myself at the fucking enemies. So...
You have javelins?
Yeah, I can just fucking yeet javelins.
I've never seen you do this.
Yeah, no, because I never do. Like, why would I want to stick back as the fucking tanky barbarian? What a bitch move.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you could probably huck it so, like, aggressively that you just, like, completely just, like, stack through someone.
Yeah, I could probably, like, shish kebab a couple people, but...
yeah, at the same time, that'd be dope.
I have not talked to Daniel about that, so maybe we could. Maybe
we do play with the cleave rules, so I would allow that. If we played on a battle map and you, like, cleaved through someone and they were adjacent behind, I like that. That's pretty rule of cool. I would allow that with someone who was, like, using a bow and stuff. Basically anything I've seen in Lord of the Rings, I'm like, yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. You can be Legolas for a second if you want.
Yeah. It's gonna be a high DC on that fucking acrobatics.
Oh yeah.
To ride a shield down a set of wet stairs.
Throwing is strong if you don't have enough movement to reach them. Oh, 100%. Yeah. But, like, most of our characters, other than the ranger that we had, like, we're usually up front. Or Haley's character, Azealia, will, like, not stick back, but they're pretty much in the middle, casting moonbeam and shit from 60 feet away.
Yeah, I hang back and concentrate so no one fucks me up while I'm trying to do other shit. Or I'm making you giant so you can fuck shit up.
Yeah, and I think that's important.
But they're all concentration, so I have to, like, hide.
Yeah, you can't take, you're only allowed to take so much damage in concentration spells, and then you don't have concentration anymore. And then also, too, going back to, like, the food thing, like, if you actually honestly kept track of, like, all your inventory and, like, your rations and food or whatever, that's so much time you have to then go back, and then if you really want to get into it, go into town, buy more food and supplies, and then it, like, that, I think, takes away from, like, the true mission and the true story. Like, I've been a part of missions or campaigns where, like, all right, you're in a town, what do you want to do? And it's a shopping session, which is fine if you have a couple of those, like, because I'm sure being a DM is fucking tiring, and if you just you want to play, but you don't have anything really, like, compounding to do, you just have those, like, filler episodes.
You don't meet often enough for that to be feasible.
Right.
Yeah, that's part of why I basically stopped doing that in this campaign. 'Cause, like, we don't...
Yeah.
Exactly what you said. Like, we don't meet often enough to warrant, like, all right, we're gonna do a shopping episode. Like, I've told you guys.
It's like, I waited 2 weeks for this.
Yeah, like, I told you guys, like, out of game that I was like, all right, if we do downtime, I'm just gonna ask you, like, DM me if you want to do something,
Yeah.
and we'll do those rolls like
Mhm.
quickly.
Yeah.
We'll like sort things out at like the start of the session.
Yeah.
If you want to do anything.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's
Mhm.
just going to be like you're at home base, and then you leave on the next like. 'Cause it's
And
we
I
don't
think
we don't
yeah.
we don't have time to sit around
We
and
don't
do
have
that.
time to fuck around. I
Yeah.
think that's super important too. Is like if you're just starting out in D&D or like you're new to the game, um, have fucking group chats. So like have your
Yeah.
DM's number on fucking speed dial next to your mom and Pizza Hut.
If they're cool with it,
If right.
Yeah.
I am cool with being pestered by my players, but be courteous
Because
of your
we're also
GM's
your
time.
friends,
Right.
Yes, because I've been
which is
friends
an
with most of
important
these guys for
factor.
literally years. So they're like, that's fine.
And I will
But
say this until the day I fucking die. I wish I met Daniel when I was like fucking 14 years old. Like,
I'm so sorry.
yeah,
But you both met me, which allowed for this union.
And
So you're welcome.
he
did.
realistically only lived like an hour from me.
Oh, I know. I know. You're very close. Very close.
Fuck. Yeah.
Haley bringing people together.
Yeah. D&D also just
Yep.
really bringing people together. So I think having those guidelines too of like making sure I said this in the previous video of like I think session zeros are really important because you the DM or the player can figure out like what you're cool with and what other people are cool with because like Seth as a person is fucking cool with whatever the party wants to do or whatever Daniel wants to throw at us, but like if there are certain topics that you're like ugh, like I don't know if I'm cool with that. Like, I think bringing that up is kind of important because there's going to be some disconnect there with you as a player, and you might be uncomfortable. So, like, not saying you have to do this. Disclaimer: you don't have to do that. But Daniel did a really cool thing in that he made an anonymous survey for the entire party to fill out, and it might have been maybe 100 questions. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Of just like, hey, what are you cool with? You know, I'm writing the story. We're going to include elements of, I mean, it's D&D, so there's going to be fucking violence. There's going to be swearing. There's going to be whatever. Like, jot
Get
down really specific stuff.
Yeah. It's really it. I did it because I just wanted to be courteous of people like myself.
Yeah.
Not. I had stuff that like I had checked off, and I was like, okay, these are the things that are my like. I'm not gonna do this even if other people are cool with it. But then it's also really good to be like, oh, like I'm just not gonna have spiders in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like if people aren't cool with spiders,
Huh.
I'm not gonna do it. And so like that was something that came up, and I was like, all right, spiders exist, but we're not gonna fight
Giant spiders. Yeah.
just because like people in the party not about it.
Interesting.
I've turned into a spider. Now I feel bad.
No, it's fine. I
Didn't
mean,
know that.
you were small, but like a giant venomous one
Sure.
that can like cocoon people and stuff. I'm like, all right, someone put it in there, and I was like, all right,
Sure.
spiders, the spiders.
Interesting.
I got to dip out for a bit.
Okay.
But you can continue with the recap that we have continually tangent away from.
That's a-okay. Awesome. So someone says so no drow or driders. No. Well, drow, I guess. But yeah, I think
I don't know what those are.
What else did we have to recap? I thought that was it.
I think that might be it. We ended up in the ruins and we're waiting to go kind of
yeah,
bounce this Medusa.
She's gonna fucking die. She's got to go.
Yeah.
I mean, she's fucking duh.
She's gonna take a minute though. It's gonna take all session easy. Maybe 2.
I'm not worried. Maybe 2 sessions. And that's I think another thing is, you know, we just talked about how our characters are fucking nasty when it comes to dealing damage. if you're going up against, like Daniel kind of said, she's a boss. Like
Mm-hmm.
the next kind of big thing. Don't expect them to be fucking squishy. Like you're level 8, or
Right.
we're all
Right.
level 8. This character or this
Right.
boss is going to be,
Yeah, it should take us a while. Yeah.
right. She's either going to be at our
Right. Her
level.
character sheet is like,
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're new to this and
her
you think,
stat block is huge.
yeah, she's a Medusa. She's not a fucking wolf. Like it's going to take a minute to kill this woman
Yeah.
or this thing.
Yeah.
So I think that is important. Don't go into sessions thinking you're going to kill everything and everyone, because especially at level 1, you're squishy as an actual spider.
Yep.
Like at level 1 Grog, I think, had like 9 hit points, which
Oh yeah, for sure.
like when I joined and I looked at everybody else, I was like, oh, I have more hit points than anyone. Like my armor, who had a really low armor class? I think Micah's character at the time, or Ada's. Their armor class was like 12, and mine was 17, and I wasn't wearing armor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna just be in the front, and I think that's kind of where I've just been. I'm like, I know everyone else is squishy, or at least like can't really take a heck of a lot of damage. So, but obviously, like as we level up and stuff, that changes.
Yeah, you can definitely take the most damage, hands down.
I have gotten a little nervous at times when when I start out at like 80 some odd hit points, and then a character or an enemy does like 50 in a turn, and I'm like, okay, hold on, hold up, wait a minute. Like that's not fun. That's scary, and I gotta.
See, but that's when Ada should come in and just heal you as you're still,
Yeah, and I gotta remember that I have healing shit that I can do, and.
Oh, true.
Yeah, like I think I dumped all of my lay on hands, like healing points last session, because I went from like 65 to like 15, and I was like, okay, gotta fix this real quick.
Yep.
So yeah, I wanted to touch on something with Daniel real quick, but he's not here. But I wanted to talk about like when DMs come up with ideas for their session. I kind of alluded to this earlier of like, how often does someone how often do you forget about the thing, maybe minor or whatever. How often do you forget to include it? And I think that happens a lot, especially like with DMs, because they want to include like maybe a little Easter egg or an interaction.
Yeah.
But I think it happens a lot with players too, especially with me.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, because like I said, like I think about D&D and our campaign and our group all the fucking time. Like I dream about interactions, and I'm like, it's fucking weird. Like I will go to bed tonight and I will think Grog is gonna decapitate Medusa. Like I know that's exactly what the fuck he's gonna do, or he's gonna cut off her tail or cut off all of her heads. Like that's just like I know. And also in watching Percy Jackson, like I just fucking I know I've planned for this for a decade.
There needs to be more Greek mythology movies. I'm sorry. I just have to go off on that for a second, because there's so many with like everything else but not Greek mythology, and I feel like that's everyone's favorite. It's my favorite. Like, why have we not done more of that? I'm tired of watching Percy fucking Jackson.
And there's only like what, 2 movies, and they were both terrible?
Yeah, they weren't great.
The books,
they weren't serious.
Right. Oh, hell no. And they had some like not A-list actors, but I would say like B-list actors. Yeah. Just still like
B-C actors.
Yeah, they could have been better.
But I listen to a lot of like mythology podcasts. Greek mythology specifically, because I find it very interesting. But
I mean, I think Atlas, the Titan that Grog worships, is of Greek mythology, and that's kind of where I got it from. Because he is my favorite Titan of all of the, like he was sentenced to hold up the weight of the world by Zeus, because he fucking tried to kill them all. And so he was damned to hold up the heavens and the planet, and I was like, hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
So going back to, because we went on a fucking tangent again.
No, no. I said there should be more Greek mythology movies because everybody loves them.
True. Uh, how often do you think of something that you want to do in a session that doesn't happen? Like,
Or
does
you
that?
forget about.
Yeah, like, does that ever happen to you? To either
Are you asking
Haley
for
or
Haley?
Daniel?
Oh,
Um, mostly Daniel.
I yeah, there have been points where things have gone in a way that I, in my mind, would have hoped like something it has mostly happened during combat
Mm,
because my
Yeah.
brain thinks the way that it does of like the optimal thing to do in a given encounter because I know everything. And so there have the points where I haven't done something have
mm,
been the points where I have uh basically been like, well, I could have, which I did start doing it now, which is like I could have told them that they have this ability that they've forgotten about, or like
Mhm.
could have told them you can use that spell in a different way. So there
Mhm.
aren't things that I like, oh, I wish I had done this. It's more like there are things that I regret not uh telling you guys about
mm,
that will help you like mechanically do more stuff.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
For that's and that's just that's me.
I'm trying to think of like, because I think in interactions with like NPCs, like I don't like. I mean, I do like to talk to NPCs because it's awesome, but for those in our party or even like people at home who um like are in their own separate campaigns, like there are people who enjoy D&D for the combat and there are people who enjoy D&D for the roleplay.
Mhm.
And I think I let other people talk. Like I know when to step in for combat and I know when to intimidate, or because Grog's not really good at deceiving shit other than using his paladin abilities, but like in those moments I think Grog is good in the background. So I let other people kind of talk to, the Queen of Air and Darkness, or when we went when we when it was birthday. I don't really remember Grog talking a lot, and I kind of let um, other people
Well, you
kind
were
of do
also
it.
like brand new to the party, though.
I was also brand new.
Like you were, yeah, like you were still like, what should I do
Yeah,
here?
like I don't want to step
Yeah.
on people's toes.
No, because we had Zool and he was just like so arrogant and overpowering everything all the time. Such a dick.
He's great. Zul's my favorite.
I just wanted to make Daniel laugh.
He's my favorite like anti-hero.
Oh, not a hero. Categorically, folks at home, not a hero at all.
No,
Villain,
no.
All the way.
villain through and through.
He
Literally,
was neutral evil.
neutral evil. Murdered a lot
Yes,
of
innocent
uh,
people.
lot of innocent people.
I'm sure he's fine.
The the party really they did the thing. They did the thing, folks, where they latched onto someone, and I really tried to tell them, "Hey, he's not a
Don't
good
do
dude."
that.
He tried to
And
backpedal so hard.
I
and
know, but he
then
had a connection to my past, so that's why it was like, ah.
there's that. And you also said, "How tall is he?" And I said, "He's about 6'2". He's an elf." And you said, "Okay, I do non-lethal damage." And
What?
and that was the beginning of the end. Like, well, okay.
Okay. Oops. Um,
I made a mistake.
I made a mistake. What have I done? Um, gosh. Yeah, I'm really trying to think of like times that like we've interacted with NPCs, or like key players, and I'm like, how would Grog behave? because like part of me always goes back and forth with like he's a fucking smooth brain barbarian and he like has 3 brain cells and 2 are fighting for third place. But also like he's a paladin and he's smart and he has his own thoughts and feelings and emotions. And I don't know, because like he's Grog. He's my boy. So
He's my boy,
he's my
and I
boy.
love him.
Yeah, and I want him to do all of the things, but at the same time, like he can't do all of the things. Like there are other people
Yeah.
in this party who have their own strengths. So I think for the folks at home, like let other people have the spotlight. Let other people have their moment. Going back to that, like
Yeah.
if you know that you, Seth, like doesn't doesn't do well talking to NPCs, but does better at I don't know. Find your thing. Find your niche within the group. Like
True.
I think Ada does a really good job at like sussing people out and like figuring out like what their motives are and like talking the situation out. Like I see a lot of like reactions from Stella when I'm like I'm gonna fuck shit up. She's like, okay, we could talk it out, and I'm like, yeah, yeah. We can talk it out
Yeah.
after they're dead. After their heads on the fucking floor, okay?
I can talk to their corpse.
Yeah, I will bathe in their blood. Um, sort of thing. Um, so, I think that's important too. Yeah. Does anyone else have anything to add? I really want to keep this going. Um, any
Uh,
tips?
oh gosh, general GMing advice,
Yeah.
or did you guys finish the recap?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, cool, neat. Uh, yeah, I guess this might be a good point if people have either chat or if you guys have questions about um, just kind of general D&D stuff in uh, the world, or it might be interesting to talk about for you guys playing sort of like mid-level uh, characters, because we're in the uh, third tier ish, or the end of the second tier of play,
Mm-hmm.
sort of like what it's considered. I believe around eighth level is like midway through. First through fourth is sort of like you are like you can save like a city or not a city. You could save like a village or a town. You're doing local problems. The next tier is you're doing like city or like country wide uh stuff. Um,
Ooh, I have a tangent that I want to
I
go off
think
of.
yeah, I honestly I would be interested to hear what, because you guys have done a lot, uh your sort of like character perspective on like what's what's your character's growth been, and
Woof.
going from material plane, I was just on a quest to figure out what this creature was, to now you've just been teleported to this like creature of Medusa. Uh, yeah, thoughts on like character progression from like lowly. I'm just here to find some answers to uh, what have I gotten myself into?
Hey, I think you should go first because you've been.
Oh
I mean,
man.
between the two of us and Daniel, like you
Yeah,
have been in the party the longest.
that is true. Um, yeah, I mean, I did start out with a lot of questions and a lot of like one main question really, but I don't know, I feel like it's also like as a as a player, as an actual person playing D&D, I've never played it before, so I think just getting more comfortable with D&D in general and like learning more about my character from different encounters that we've had and kind of getting to like live as her. I don't know, it's been very I've just seen a lot of shit at this point. Like the character's just seen a lot of
Yeah.
shit and encountered a lot of people that have like shaped her personality, and that's kind of like it is over time. Like your personality just keeps getting shaped by different encounters and people that you meet and different abilities that you gain. Um, yeah, I mean, like she became Circle of the Moon. Um, Gained a lot of really cool abilities that way. Been betrayed by some people. Been, I don't know, a lot of things.
Been definitely
Deceived.
yeah, deceived. You've also learned a lot
Yes.
compared to like where you uh started from,
Oh my
for
Mm.
God,
sure.
yeah. Encountered so many different things. I was just saying how my personality has been shaped through encounters and meeting people, so.
Oh, got a new follower.
Oh boy.
Azukida, I'm so sorry I can't pronounce your name. I'm so sorry. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. Um, but no, being a druid is really cool, and the Circle of the Moon adds a lot to it, and like none of that stuff I really knew or thought that my character would um ever get into or gain or anything. I was just a druid trying to do some things, and I had a tiger, um, and I had some questions about a green soldier, and wanted to save my people, and that was kind of
Mm,
it.
yeah.
And now I'm like, have this circlet thing that will be made into something else next session, so that'll be exciting. Um,
Yeah.
Attuned to me, but I don't know. I've seen a lot of things, and my character has developed a lot over 2 years.
Yeah. Grog, how about you? How's Grog changed
Fuck.
from when we first met him during a
Fuck.
bar fight?
I think
Uh,
I think initially like,
Bar fight.
and I want to canvas this real quick of like you can have every idea of what you think a D&D campaign will be. Like
Mhm.
my one of the first in my group I made a Warforged Artificer. Artificer seemed OP from what I've been able to do. Artificer fucking kick ass. Daniel up here, plays one himself.
what
So
up?
we
Yep.
can talk about that. Uh, you can you can have a thought of what your campaign is going to be like, and it can go in a million different directions. But
Yeah.
really, when it comes down to the session that you play every week or every 2 weeks or whatever, that's what happens. Like when I say like after this I'm gonna dream about D&D or I'm gonna think about it or I'm gonna journal about it or whatever the fuck I'm gonna do about it, like that is just one of a million different things that could potentially happen. um
Yeah, the roles control a lot.
the roles fucking control everything, and that's really I think kind of
Yeah.
the whole point, right? Is like it can't ever always be scripted. uh Even if you write it down in a journal somewhere or write it in your notes tab and you share it with your DM in hoping that it will happen. Like your DM literally or GM has all of the fucking control. It's their world and we fucking live in it. Um, that should be the title of our campaign. It's his world and we just fucking live there.
Oh, it's the Cluebridge 6.
It's the Cluehbridge 6, and what a fucking kick-ass name. Okay, this is the coolest fucking shit I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It's we're the ragtag bunch that saved the fucking world. We are the
But I
budget.
like that it's the 6 and not the 5 because our DM is included in that, and I
Yeah,
like it.
yeah.
Oh,
No,
oh,
shh. It is. No, shh.
That's canon now. That's canon. You're in it.
oh,
No,
okay,
shh.
yeah, 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 yeah.
You're the
No,
Tony Stark. You're the
it's
Tony.
it's certainly not that you were framed for murder and
Yeah.
uh wanted terrorists
No,
in.
no way.
I know it wasn't our actual DM that was included in it, but since it's our party name, it is.
It
Yeah.
is. You're right. Right. So when we see a wanted poster of the Cluebridge 6, it's all of us, right, in character, and then there's
Yeah.
Daniel in real life.
Yeah, and then there's just this human man
Man.
with just a human that none of you have seen before. It's a man
Whose
with a
dad is
mustache and
that?
glasses.
I also love just like referring to Daniel as the narrator in session. Like Grog has this idea. Oh, thanks, narrator.
Yes. God.
Oh my gosh. But
Oh,
okay.
I would never be that heavy-handed.
Oh, that would be incredible. You see a giant pencil come down from the sky, and like Doodle Bob creates a monster.
Mihoi minoi.
Mihoi minoi. Going back to what Grog. Okay, so for those of you at home, and you've only just started listening and watching to our stuff, I did a whole session with Haley and Daniel a couple weeks ago, if not a month or so ago by now, that went over the entire, to catch everyone up to speed from start to finish of where we are, or from where we started to where we are currently. So if you haven't, check that out on the YouTube. Right here, Starboard_Games on the YouTube. I don't have a YouTube logo, but you can just put that there. Anyway, Grog first encounters the party literally in a bar fight. He got hustled by some folks.
It wasn't a fight until Grog made it.
Yeah, it was a losing fight.
Just...
Subscriber incoming. Oh shit. Okay. Thanks, Ian. I appreciate you. Kisses.
Oh, Ian. Hey.
Hey. So the way I wrote Grog is that he is in his late 40s, early 50s, and his entire, like, not entire
Just
life,
young.
just like mid 20s, right? For Goliaths, like, I think they can live to be like 100. So he's
they have human lifespans.
Human lifespans, right?
Oh,
so
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he can't live forever. He's not like Azealia, where like 300 is 12. So for him, he is about, give or take, halfway through his lifespan, and he's seen a lot of shit up until now, like a lot of monsters. He's seen a lot of death. Of course, like that whole one-shot mission that we did as a group, like that is kind of like his crowning achievement of like, I fucking saved. I saved the world, essentially, in his eyes. Of like, he did that when he was like, I think 25.
Yeah, like, don't undersell it. You literally, like, legendary status, Lashana's Legion. That is like a historical.
It's in the fucking books,
event.
bro.
Yeah, like literally history of the world is Grog's early like military career was part of an action that like basically saved the world.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He's an Avenger, guys. He's an Avenger.
It's chilling to hear that from.
He's actually Thor.
Yeah. He's chill. He's all right. He's cool.
Yeah.
So when the party kind of meets him, he at one point or another had come from multiple, or at least a couple different, like, mercenary groups, just trying to, wrap up his mission of clearing out the lasting rifts across Salandran and any like fiends or monsters that have come through. He was a part of Lashana's group, which Daniel just talked about, which had then since kind of like disbanded in one way or another, and to kind of fill that and kind of continue his campaigns, he joined a group of mercenaries and took contracts and just kind of like Witcher style, like taking out monsters and stuff like that and getting a reward, and then came across the party, and like in Grog's backstory, he in one way or another helped Azealia in the Ladrin Fort. Where the fuck are you from?
Alondor.
Alondor Woods. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
And came into contact with the green spectral warrior guy.
Yep.
in one way or another.
Green Soldier.
Green Soldier Man, Soldier Boy, I tell him. Fucking kill me.
Sometimes.
Kill me,
yes,
man. Kill me. So in coming into contact with the group, he recognizes Azealia, and kind of joins up with her and the gang. But his whole kind of mentality is like, I'm too old for this shit. Like very like, was it Lethal Weapon? Like, I guess I can do one more fucking hoorah. Because his ultimate goal.
You're a vet.
Yeah, I'm a vet. I've seen shit. I've saved the world. But he definitely doesn't like brag about that shit. Like, he probably has PTSD of some kind. From the amount of shit that he has seen and things that he has put into the earth.
Yeah.
So he's
we rolled.
Yeah.
We did roll at the end of that. Your one shot backstory one. I had you roll a D100 to see how many of the 100 people who went survived, and it was in the 30s.
Yep.
So one military action, like two-thirds dead.
Woof.
Of the elite warriors.
Yep.
But yeah, there would certainly be some PTSD from that experience.
Yeah. So I think for him, and he like as far as like continental travel goes, or at least planetary travel goes, like he has only been on the material plane. He has not done anything extraterrestrial, I guess you could say, or like magical in that sense. Like his home turf was the spine for a very long time, and then eventually, because of the wars and things like that, like he had to come down from the mountains, and that's really when he kind of first experienced the world. So when Grog kind of initially joins up with the party, I think he's just very much like, I just want to get home to my family, but like I understand like a bit of the mission at hand, right? Because like he doesn't know everything right up at the get go. So he probably assumed at the time that this would just be a quick like, oh yeah, travel to this country or this keep and like we'll deal with it. And the more that Grog learns, especially with his gauntlet, he realizes that the mission that he had completed is actually far from over. And I think too, when the party is about to get ready to go to the Feywild after we had fought, what the fuck was his name? The dragon.
White Claw the Unbearable.
Right. White Claw the Unbearable. And we were getting ready.
What was his voice like again? I can't remember. What was his voice? I
oh
could
God,
almost hear it. I could almost hear it.
Chad.
I can only do it if I do the song, the poetry that he had written, which was oh God.
Was it a My Chemical Romance song?
It was a My Chemical Romance.
That's right.
When I was a young dragon, my father took me into a city to eat a marching band. He said, son, when you grow up, will you be an eater of the frozen, the freezing, and the damned? Awesome. So yeah, that was White Claw the Unbearable.
Awesome. Terrific. Amazing. I'm glad he made an appearance this session.
Yeah.
We always need more White Claw in our life. So I think
loves.
Yeah. I think when Grog
it became part of the
maybe he's the sixth member. He's not actually dead. He could be.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Alternate dimension. You never know.
No, you won't see him again.
Interesting. You had to think about it, chat.
Don't hold me to that.
Yeah, see, there it is. It's like at the end of an Avengers movie, like White Claw will return. Anyway, going back to I think really what took a turn for Grog too is like also for Seth. Like there was a little while where I wanted to write Grog out because I didn't necessarily get bored with Grog. I got bored with what he could do. Because he's just a barbarian, right? Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna rage and like I'm gonna hit twice and okay, like that's really all I got. Like I'm not a spellcaster. I can't turn into an animal. I can't fly. I can't cast fireball. You know,
I can do all those things.
right, exactly. I don't have a fucking magical tiger that I can ride into battle.
Oh,
Okay.
wait, that's me too.
Whoa. I'm not a
Like,
healer. I
hang
can't.
on.
I can't heal my party. So I definitely like I am a simple.
You're just naming all the things that I do.
I'm naming all the things that all the magical people in our party can do, whether it be casting spells or riding your fucking giant tiger mount or whatever. But anyway, you're catching my drift of like he can only do so much, and also too like we are entering a place that Grog has never been to, a place that he doesn't know the rules, he doesn't know the laws, like. In this plane of existence, as far as like Ian goes, can't wait to hit level 3 and make a flamethrower turret. Hell yeah, dude! Artificers are fucking they're great. They're crazy. I'll tell you in a second. Like they're awesome. Like in this plane of existence, as far as like a civilized group of people goes, like Goliaths are like one of the biggest ones. So next to like. I mean, I guess if you could count giants as like civilized, but like they're probably the biggest thing out there as far as like a civilized group. So for him, he doesn't know. He could be the smallest thing. He doesn't know how bad shit's gonna be. And to him, like he's probably experienced Fae in some way or another. He probably just didn't realize it. Like if they crossed over to the material plane or like whatever. But to him, it was fucking daunting. And this is kind of where I leaned into the Atlas thing a little bit. I took a turn real quick with Atlas because like when you create your character, you can have like you can write up your allies and your religion and stuff like that in the notes or whatever. And I kind of just quickly wrote down that he worships the Titan Atlas and all that stuff. And this is kind of where I turned to Daniel. And I said, hey, I want to try and do something with this character. And folks at home, like, this is where having your DM on speed dial is awesome, or shooting him a text. Obviously, having them be okay with that. And also, too, Daniel and I are two pretty creative individuals, and, like, we bounce ideas off pretty easily to each other. Not saying he gives me total creative reign and like lets me do whatever the fuck I want, because that would be game breaking, and you don't want that. You want the story to make sense, and you want the characters to make sense. Like
as much a sucker for a good story,
right? As much as I want Grog to be a literal fucking god on the battlefield, that won't make sense. Like
no.
You know, and it doesn't make it fun for everybody else. Like, oh yeah, Grog's gonna go in and fucking clear the battlefield. Like that's not.
It's not fun.
It's not fun. I don't think that would be fun.
Nope.
I don't know why I showed the chat. Oh, DM is typing. Okay.
He's typing, yeah.
He's typing. Okay. I'm gonna let you moderate that. So for him, he had a moment before entering the Feywild with Atlas. And this is really where Grog starts to multi-class into Paladin. And he gets those extra abilities to heal people, and he can use Divine Smite and do radiant damage and stuff like that. Because beforehand, all he could fucking do is deal slashing damage, and then with his rage ability, he can negate a lot of that. Oh, his mom's going to sleep, so something.
Oh, okay.
So I can't be loud. That's okay.
He can't be loud. That's fine.
That's fine. So.
Good night, Mama.
Good night, Mom. Good night, Daniel's mom. Oh, I dropped something real quick. So, you know, he can either negate damage from his rage ability. He can also negate damage for being a Goliath, because they have an ability called Stone Endurance, which is like you don't you can like negate a D12 worth of damage. So it's like Grog is a fucking tank, and he can deal damage, but that's he can swing with his axe, and that's all he can do. And I knew that I wanted a character that could do more than that. And so initially, I was like, maybe this is where Grog will exit. I literally wrote an entire thing, and Daniel has it somewhere, and I have it
I
somewhere.
remember you telling me about this.
It's
too.
fucking like 9 pages of just Grog pouring his giant Goliath hearth out to his group and saying like, guys, I can't come with you. Like, there's no fucking way. Of like how am I supposed to, because in our campaign so far, Grog has interacted with the answer, the big bad guy, essentially.
Yep.
One time, and he was fucking terrifying for Grog. He's huge. He's enormous. So he, in his mind, was like, "How the fuck am I supposed to deal with that?" So Daniel and I took on the task of changing Grog a little bit. So adding those that multi-class of Paladin and kind of steering down that road. Because Paladins are cool characters, and they're a cool class. You can deal radiant damage, you can heal people, and like that's what Grog is kind of about. Like not only getting in there and dealing damage, but also like he was the support. Like he was the big guy on the battlefield. Like everyone went to him. But also like in his backstory, like he has a wife and he has a family. So like he does have a supposedly, allegedly. He does have that.
She's dead now, but you know.
Yeah, right. He had a wife. So there's that part in him that there is a little bit of a caretaker in there. Like when we encountered that classroom of like Feywild kids. Like Uncle Grog sat down on the floor and like yeah.
Or like when I was being sucked onto the moon by the answer and you were like, I'm taking this off your head.
Yep. Because no one else was doing it. I was like, fuck it. Grog will just grab it. So I think for Grog, really to get to the meat and potatoes of our question of like, how has he changed? He's gone from this hack and slash kind of barbarian essentially to this more, okay, the mission that I was set out to do all those years ago that I thought I had completed is far from over, and I have to see it through and I have to stick it out, whether it means fucking sacrificing myself to fix it or fucking saving the planet, like whatever that looks like. Because I will say, in my one shot, I tried to nobly sacrifice myself to kill the party. I told everyone to leave, and Haley was like, "No, that doesn't make sense. You dummy." As much as Seth wants his character to go out in the Blades of Glory, it would not have made sense in my one shot if Grog died. No. Which he almost did. So, missed it by that much. So yeah, I think that's where he's at. He's still that like grumpy old man, but also like, especially now that I should kind of talk about that too. Now that he's found out that his fucking wife is dead, the fucking rules don't apply. Like when he found out that Camilla was a fucking fiend, he was like, I don't give a shit. The rules of engagement have changed. He, I think, in the moment was like, ask for forgiveness later and just do it right now. Like,
did you have another character that you were gonna? Like that was on standby. Like, was there one that you were like? Because I know you come up with them all the time, but like, was there one that you were like, yes, I'm gonna do that one?
And I kind of spearhead these or throw them at Daniel too. Like when I get into these creative moods of like, ones that I think would be good if something were to happen. Like I had a couple, because I tried to have their backstories like make sense and like, like why would this person be here? So like if Grog were to leave right before getting to getting into the Feywild. Like, I had a fighter, or at least like a rogue, that would have been a member of his mercenary group. That would have like found a letter that Grog left behind, or something. Like, I wrote that kind of really quickly, to kind of like have that make sense. I've made magic users that like we would have like in kind of the same vein of like Grog either saved them from an encounter long ago, or like was
Okay,
a
so they'd be tied into Grog somehow.
yeah. Just have some sort of a contingency. As far as their like classes go, I made sorcerers, I made wizards, which I've never played a wizard before, so that was going to be kind of scary. Um, I had like a monk that I was going to play that was also on tied to Grog somehow,
Cool.
as like he was the diplomat. And
Mhm.
actually, when we did your one shot, when I was the Trident,
Yep.
the Trident monk, that's kind of where I made that of like,
Yeah.
oh,
Because I played a monk too in one of the one shots,
yeah,
and the key was super fun to play
yes,
with. That was
monks. Ian,
yeah,
Ian,
and that
if
was
you're
low level.
yeah, Ian, if you're still here, monks are fucking cool.
Yes. Yeah, Panja.
Panja, right? Like he would have been
Panja.
the diplomat, or kind of like the middleman.
Big cats are my thing.
Yeah.
I
Um,
don't know.
I was gonna make a druid. Like I made for fun. I made Beast Boy.
Druids are so fun.
I made Beast Boy in D&D Beyond. I made
But
Beast Boy from the Teen Titans, the green kid.
oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, he's literally
No shit.
he's a shifter, which is just a humanoid that has like animal like
Yeah.
properties. Like, so he's got fangs, he's got teeth, or
Yeah.
claws and stuff. Oh, my dog wants to get out. Hold on. And he's a druid, so he can just shapeshift into animals. And then I think he's a monk or a fighter or something like that. So hold on, I gotta
That'd
let
be
the dog
really
out.
cool.
But yeah,
Yeah, if I wasn't a druid, I don't know. I've always been a druid. I've always been like even in I played World of Warcraft in high school, and that's really where this all started with like my fascination with just like games and playing characters and everything like that. And I was a druid in World of Warcraft, so I was very familiar with that life, and it just speaks to me
Ian
as an individual.
says.
It feels the most natural.
Ian says I've thought about making a monk, but I like blasting people with spells.
Yeah, that's the thing about druids is that you get a million spells.
Ian,
There's so
if you could think of a druid as like a flex character in Overwatch,
yeah.
as like you can be support, but you can also do DPS and you can be tanky. Like, they're a cool character, and artificers are they're more support, I feel like, than DPS.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can create cool armor, or like you can give your teammates like magical weapons. Like, Daniel plays an artificer, so he can like definitely talk about that a little bit more. But like, they're a cool class to play.
Yep.
Like, it might all be fine and good to have a band of traveling bards as your group, but you're gonna be pretty fucking squishy for the majority of your interactions.
That's what we started out as, just the bards.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't a bard. There was two of us that weren't, but everyone.
Right. Um.
Yeah.
So like, and I talked about this in my other video that I made. Is like, ooh, he said I might make a druid in Baldur's Gate. Druids in Baldur's Gate, phenomenal. I haven't played, but I know Lettuce has, so you should talk to him about that. I definitely like when in making a character for this campaign, I definitely treated it like a video game, and I was like, okay, we've got some people who can deal damage. We have a healer. We have kind of a flex person. You don't have to do that. Like, that's just how my brain works, because like you want your session to last a long time. So going with all squishy people, all magic users, probably isn't the best idea. Like, yeah, you might be able to do a lot of damage, but like, you gotta heal and you gotta do all that stuff. How? Oh, yeah, yeah. We can end whenever we want. I don't care. We've been going on for a long ass time. 2.5 hours.
Just didn't know what you planned.
I mean, I can go
It's
for
been
as
a
long as I
while.
need to. If you guys need to leave,
I know you can.
I was planning to go till about 10 o'clock.
Oh, keep talking.
Okay.
It's your stream.
My stream, y'all just are here.
Is there anything else you'd like to ask me or Daniel? No, he can't talk, but he can type.
We can talk for him.
Or that.
Yeah.
You like doing that.
Yeah, yeah. I love speaking for our DM. Okay, so while they're talking, oh, he has a question for us.
What is that?
How do you guys feel about knowing the appetite is poisoning the Feywild? That's fucked up. That's how Grog feels.
Wait a minute.
Okay, so Haley, what he's alluding.
I don't like.
What
okay,
we have
go
to.
ahead.
What we have to. Because this sucks. This sucks about D&D is like so much shit has happened between our gauntlets and right now. I, Seth, and Grog have not had the time to tell the party what the fuck is happening.
Yeah, please.
Like you were there obviously for Grog's gauntlet.
Yes.
But
part of it because my computer died, but yes.
Right. So a big portion of it is that so we know the answer, right? The thing that is locked on the moon.
Yep.
We
know. Don't I know it?
Don't you know it? We also have the Avatar.
That guy. Yes,
which
yes,
is
yes.
who Grog interacted with.
Why do they all start with A? I don't like that.
Because Daniel wants to. He wants to work for AAA. He wants to work for AAA.
God damn it.
And so we also have this thing called the Appetite, and I'm treating it like the Megazord in the Power Rangers of like you've got these 3 entities that when come together they create the ultimate fucking super being, and so
you said the alliteration.
Yeah, whatever, dude. I don't give a shit. You can leave. The Appetite is the reason why we have to stay here because initially we oh hey Turtle, yes I did get my dongle at Walmart. That's how you can hear the party and it's not all echoey and dog shit. Yes. Initially, I feel like Grog was like, we got to get in and get out. We got to figure out where this prince is. We got to bring him back to his mom, and then we're fucking gone. Not really realizing we have to be here for like a legitimate reason. Like we have to talk to the prince or the Queen of Air and Darkness to figure out like what the fuck's going on, or to see if she knows what the hell's happening. In Grog's gauntlet, he realizes that the Avatar, this other being or part of the answer, is still a fucking problem. And the Appetite is also here on the Feywild, where we're at. So we need to go.
What is he? What? Yeah.
What is the Appetite? I can't remember. Is the Appetite like? I know you're not able to talk, but like. The Appetite, I don't think, is a being, but it's more or less like a thing.
No, the answer was... He's typing.
Yeah, I know he's typing. So chat. Hold up. Hold up. Wait a minute.
Appetite is unknown entity at this point for you guys. Okay.
Yes. So we know that this thing is here on the Feywild, and it is poisoning... basically the environment. Like everything around it is dying and decaying and stuff like that, which we need to fix. Obviously, we need to prevent climate change in the Feywild. So Grog has not had the time to divulge all of that info because of us getting out of the gauntlet, us freeing all the people, and then this Camilla shit. So
yeah,
once we have some downtime, we gotta gather around the campfire and sing our campfire song, and let me fucking just figure out the best way to communicate what the hell is happening, because there's a lot of shit that only Grog knows.
Well, any day now.
That's kind of it. Like, once I think.
Why are you holding back, Grog? Seems kind of sus.
I'm not trying to hold back. I just found out my fucking wife died. Leave me alone. That's kind of a big thing too.
To begin with.
I didn't. I knew on paper she existed. On paper she's real.
Yeah. That's what they all say.
So he's kind of spiraling right now. Like, Grog is a big angry sad boy. Both. Grog is a big angry sad boy.
Oh my god. He plays angry sad boy music.
Yeah. So I think that once we figure out this whole thing with the Medusa and track her down and kill her and all that stuff, because we will, I gotta sit down with everybody and be like, hey, this is what the fuck I saw. Because I don't think we've really done that. Like, no one has really, as a party, like, in game.
No, we've been doing stuff.
Yeah, we've been doing shit. Like, no one.
Yeah.
We need to compare fucking notes, is what we need to do.
Yeah, we do. We need to compare notes. All right. So next session, let's compare notes.
No, we can't.
Why?
We
can.
We're in the middle.
We can take a minute.
Remember our conversation, Daniel, about derailing shit and like, oh, we're not actually gonna go fight the Medusa. We're gonna fucking talk. That's exactly what we're gonna do. So maybe
Did you know that I can warg into shadow?
Yes, I did know that. I do know some of your abilities in that you can like transform, or you can control shadow like Brandon Stark can in Game of Thrones. You can like,
yeah, that's warging.
Yeah, you can like so yeah, that's a big thing.
Yeah, if you take out the giant before it gets to the door, you'd be able to catch your breath in chat.
But like, I have to dash to get there, and that's an action, and then
yeah, hurry up.
My bonus action would be to like, you gotta just magic users, you need to fucking learn the catapult spell, okay? To be able to fucking yeet an object and deal damage. It's for free.
I thought you had like 50 javelins or something.
Yes, but you can literally throw a cup at somebody and it deals like 3d6 damage. It's something stupid like that. Learn the catapult spell. I don't care.
Just impale him
it's a
with
dex
your
save.
javelin.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Javelins are coming out.
Catapult does 0 if they pass the save. Okay.
Oof. That
sucks. If you take out the giant before it gets to the door, you'd be able to catch your breath. He's 40 feet away.
A lot of notes here.
I mean, I'll remember that. I'll remember that. That's fine.
It's right in our chat.
Yeah. I'll... It's up here in case I forget, though. In the chat. Like, I've got it on lock and key up here. Okay. No one has really posted any questions, which is totally fine. I don't anticipate people to really ask questions. But if you ever do, during the middle of a session, you can always use the chat on the stream to ask questions. You can whisper to me. You can do whatever you want.
Whisper?
That's what it's called on Twitch. Fucking leave me alone.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, no shit.
It's really weird. I don't like that it's called whispering.
It's a little odd.
It gives me an ick, that's for sure.
Yeah.
If you ever ask questions, I'm not going to try and derail the session, because I don't want to take that away from the other people, but maybe we'll raise the questions at the end. So as part of our little like roses and thorns bit that we do, or whatever, I'll figure it out.
Do you want to explain that?
Our roses and thorns bit? Yeah. So
or stars and wishes?
Yes, I'll definitely go over those.
Which is a helpful thing for new players. For sure.
And I will definitely go over that too as a tip. Tip number, whatever, 50 for tonight. Of doing it, I'll call it an after action report. Basically going over the session. Obviously, if you are on a time constraint, or you have, a bedtime because you are adults, or you're a college student and you have class in the next morning,
You gotta parent yourself. You really do.
yeah, you really gotta just give yourself time to decompress. But what we do is something called Roses and Thorns or Stars and Wishes. I think primarily we're a little stars or a little Roses and Thorns heavy. They're realistically the same thing, but they're called different things. So
We
roses.
also do roses, buds, and thorns.
Yes, roses, buds, and thorns. Roses are something that you enjoyed or something that happened to the party that you wanted to highlight, whether like a person in real life, role played something really well, or the session just overall like was a 10 out of 10 and you wanted to highlight that.
Yeah.
That's always my
That's
fucking go-to rose is like Daniel's fucking kick-ass. It was a great session. It's not a safety net. It's an honest to God rose that I have every single fucking time. I think the only thorns that I ever have are with myself, because I didn't get to do the things that I wanted to do, or it didn't go the way that I thought it was going to do or going to go.
Yeah.
So but that's just on me. That's on me as a person and a player. So thorns are things that I don't know. You not necessarily didn't like, but things
to work on.
Yeah, opportunity. Like for a lot of us, like especially as we get higher in level, like our character sheets are fucking beasts to understand.
Yeah.
And all of us have varying like experience in playing D&D and action economy and all of that stuff. So like for Grog, it was pretty fucking easy to play a session because all I could do was attack. Just bonus action, swing my axe, I'm gonna move. That's Grog in a nutshell. But for Haley, for example, like she can cast spells, and every day she has to prepare a spell or a list of spells, and like she can do this, she can do that. It's overwhelming for sure, and it only gets worse for spellcasters. Like for wizards, you have your spell book, and you have to review that, and if you lose it, it's a fucking whole nightmare. So for I'm seeing that Daniel wrote some stuff. Whispering comes from the MMORPGs. It's how you DM in general chat. Yeah.
Action items.
Yeah, thorns are action items. If you speak business lingo, or they're self critiques, kind of like what I said. So like for example, like
what's the call to action?
Right, like I wish I utilized my character sheet a little bit more. My God. And
Daniel and I are both creative.
Oh yeah.
Like individuals that have to work for companies, and it's just like kill me.
And buds are, things that you look forward to is always like my definition of a bud. Of like, okay, like for example, a bud for me is this fucking interaction with the Medusa that's coming up. Every session has a bud for me. It's always the following week or 2 weeks out. Isn't it crazy that every other week and every 2 weeks mean the same thing?
All right, it's getting late. I'm gonna.
Okay. Stars and wishes is basically the same thing. Stars are things that you want to highlight, and wishes are wishes. They're things that you hope for or want to happen.
They're useful at the end of the session, especially for the DM to kind of understand how they're doing. Yeah. Like what they can, what the party likes, what we want to work on.
Exactly. And it's just good note taking, like to kind of get the bullet points of like what happened, because for some people, for some parties and their campaigns, like your session might be 3 hours or 4 hours long, which I used to take notes every fucking time, and now I just don't. I kind of leave it up to these recordings to do it for me.
Group decompression time.
100%. And sometimes if it gets too late, like it is right now, like we save it for a different time, or like we add it to the following session or whatever, or we just say, hey, like
chat about it.
It's a casual thing. It takes 5 or 10 minutes after every session. But But yeah,
We have a group chat now that we can do that for as well.
100%. Text, Snapchat, fucking, I don't know. Twitter. No, we don't have a Twitter chat. Twitter's
No,
fine.
but on Discord
And
is what I'm saying.
Discord
We have a
too.
party chat
So
where we can talk as characters.
yeah, obviously for those of you at home, like we use Discord. If you are gonna play virtually, it's like
100%.
100% just do that. It's so easy.
Top choice.
Yeah. I'm gonna give some final tips. If you guys want to peace out, you can. If not,
Good.
do you have any parting words?
Hope you had fun.
Awesome. Great.
Good night, everybody.
My last thing is just crit on your homework, kids.
Yeah. Don't stay up too late watching this nonsense. Do your homework.
All right.
True.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right. So now that it's just us, we can talk about Daniel and Haley behind their back. No, I don't want to do that. What I really want to talk about, I haven't been in school for a decade. What is homework? Dude, I just started my master's program, and that question has been, I never crit on my homework, lol. Ian, you have to, boy. You have to. Yeah, so I'll give a life tip after this, but I want to continue with D&D. For those of you who are interested in starting D&D, oh, there's a fellow Baldur's Gate fan in here. Yes, you should hit up Ian. I'm gonna butcher your fucking name, but you should just hit up Ian, whisper to each other, whatever the kids do now. If you are interested in starting a campaign with a group of friends, you know, if you're gonna play in person or online, there are a bunch of tools. This is not a sponsor for any service or anything like that. This is just some helpful tips that you guys can use for when you want to start your own campaign. Obviously, there's the old school written down character sheet. I'm going to use this as just a reference. I've got about 100 copies of like actual character sheets that you can use. They're great as a reference point, but like in a given D&D session, like you're going to take damage and you're going to heal and you're going to do different abilities and you're going to have to mark that shit up. You're going to add stuff to your inventory. You're going to remove things from your inventory. Like stuff's going to get stolen or, you know, whatever it is. Dude, I can't wait for Baldur's Gate to come out on console. I'm going to just plug that right there. I'm pumped. And I have so much fun playing with my friends. Like that's the biggest part of D&D that I love is like just being able to hang out. Both printout and digital character sheets and other D&D resources. Fuck, that's awesome. So going back to that, you can either get paper copies of character sheets or you can print them off online. The source books you can buy in person, and like have physical copies of those. But what's really cool and what we use is D&D Beyond. It's a subscription service. I think the unlimited plan is like $5 a month or something like that. You can make as many characters as you fucking want. So for me, who has crippling ADHD and wants to create characters and stuff like that, like I use that religiously. I really break the bounds with that service. I can also buy all of the source books that I want, and they're all digitized and stuff like that. It keeps a catalog for you. And in buying those source books, like you get all of the materials, the sub races, inventory, like new items and subclasses and stuff like that. It's really, really cool. So I definitely, dude, same. I'm running 3 current campaigns right now. Holy fuck, dude. That's insane. And it just keeps everything like at ease. Like I literally use my phone. Look it out all the time. Look up spells and stuff. Oh yeah, easily. Like Wiki D&D and like all that stuff. Perfect. But like this is like what it looks like. It looks terrible on this end, but like those are all my source books and stuff like that, for example. And what's really cool with D&D Beyond is you can oh yeah, if you ran 3 campaigns at the same time. I did 2 at one point, and that was nuts. I mean, you don't want to get burnt out, but running 2 campaigns at the same time having D&D twice a week was nuts. And you can share source books. I don't know why I'm playing with a knife, but anyway, you can share source books with your party members. So like what I did originally with one of the first groups that I played with is we all share different source books. So like the DM might buy the DM's guide for D&D. I'm not going to really need that right now. But if I wanted to have access to it, I can use it to start my own campaign or whatever. Hi, dog. I might buy like the monster manual or the player's guide, and like we can share those with as many people as we want in our group. Daniel does kind of the same thing where like if he or I see something that might be of interest. And what's great too is if you see something within a source book, you don't have to buy the whole book. You can literally go, like, I look for races all the time to play, or classes, or whatever. You can literally go to the D&D Beyond website and type in whatever you're looking for and just buy it. It might be $5, it might be 99 cents, like whatever it is. So that's really cool. Because then you don't have to buy the whole fucking book. So that's another piece of advice. Is if you're going to go the in-person route, definitely bring D&D Beyond with you on like your phone or a laptop or iPad or whatever. Because it keeps track of everything for you. So like when Daniel comes up with ideas like Febane, I can literally type in Febane into my inventory, add it as an item because he created it. The system knows what it is, and stuff like that too. And it just makes it all the more easy. Especially because I don't have to keep like, as much as I love these spell cards, I'm going to lose this. So to be able to keep all of that stuff on one system, on one webpage is awesome. Goodness, what else was I going to say? I think being open to new ideas all the time is great. I said this in the car video that I made, but if you have any interest in starting a hobby or starting a club, like if you're at school or anything like that, you should do that. You're only in school for a short amount of time. I know 4 years sounds like it's a lot, but it really isn't. Like, I graduated from school. I started college in 2015 and graduated in 2019, and then the pandemic happened. I wasn't really pursuing a master's degree or anything like that at the time, but now I am. So my kind of advice is to, if you have the opportunity to and the interest, you should pursue it as early as you can. Because the more you put that off, the less likely I feel like you're going to do it. I have a unique opportunity to do it where I work, so I'm going to take advantage of that. Especially in the world that we live in now, I think the master's degree is the new bachelor's degree. So if you have the opportunity to do it, do it. And for the students who, also the less time you have to reap the rewards. Absolutely. So if you're a college student and you're watching this, like, I'll say this about myself. Like, for those who don't know, like, when I went to school, I didn't do fucking anything. I wasn't in a club. I didn't play a sport. I went to class and I worked. I worked at Hannaford. I worked almost every day after class. I went to the College of Hard Knocks. Absolutely. And thank you for that. I didn't really give myself a lot of time to have fun. Granted, when I got older and was in my upper level classes and stuff, good old Hannies. Cutting meat and cheese, dude, and rotating milk and eggs. It was awesome. I didn't really give myself enough time to be a college kid. I went to parties and stuff like that, but like, that wasn't really my scene for a little while, and so I was in my dorm room playing Overwatch or GTA or whatever it was at the time, Call of Duty. But I never really thought of joining a club. Like, I had my friends in my friend group, and I love them. We still keep in touch, and we just had a guys' weekend last weekend, and it was great. But I never really, got involved on campus. And if you are a high-functioning golden retriever like me, you would know that talking to people is what gives you energy. And I kind of realized that about myself kind of towards the end of college. Is like, I'm a fucking extrovert through and through. And I probably should have been more involved on campus, especially in working at a college now, like, and just seeing what the kids can do. I wish I joined a club. If like there wasn't a D&D club on campus where I went to school, I would have started it 100%, or a gaming club or whatever. Or if there was an esports team, I would have fucking played on the esports team for sure. For sure. Yeah, I wasn't great, but I fucking watch the Overwatch League or this Rainbow Six Siege League all the time. Like COD, all of that stuff. Like that was my bread and butter for a long time. So if you have a group of friends that want to start a club or start a campaign together, fucking do it. Because when you get older and you graduate, you're going to have less and less free time to do that. Obviously with us, with the 6 of us, like it's hard. Like we all work at different places. We have different schedules. We have different lives. So we can only really play every other week for only 2 or 2.5 hours or whatever it is. So while you're in college especially, you want to hone in on those opportunities and, have a good time. Like, I can't think of a time that I've played D&D and I've had a bad time. Like, yeah, I might have had a situation where, like, something didn't go my way, but that was, like, a speck of the overall session. Like, it's really, for me, it's not even just about, like, hanging out with my friends. Because that's a big component of D&D, is being able to hang out with my friends and just be myself in an open setting and not feel like I'm going to get judged. But also, I get to create those memories with those friends, and then also, like, I get to partake in a story. It's like playing a video game, and, like, you're immersing yourself fully in that role, that character that you create. That's why I love Grog so much. As much as I said earlier of, like, I thought I was going to be bored of him, I mean, there have been times where I've played Skyrim 100 times and I've changed characters. I've started over from scratch, from the heavy armor, two-handed weapons, to the rogue sneak thief, to the wizard, which in Skyrim, if you go a mage class, you better bring a fucking sword with you. But anyway, I digress. So my biggest piece of advice for those, if you ever have interest in starting a club or just want to get guys together, like, when we do our in-person sessions, which is not very often, we might do we just did our first one or second one just a few months ago. We would love to do them more, but obviously, like, people live far away. Like, it's hard for us. We've often tried to use like my place of work as kind of like the hub, just because there's like in the office that I work in, there's a huge 10-foot long table. It makes the perfect space for a D&D group. The DM can have his entire corner to himself, and then the rest of the party can sit like side to side or whatever. But of course, like Discord, it makes that super easy, and you don't have to travel and stuff like that. So if you have something that interests you and you want to pursue, fucking do it. Like, that's my biggest piece of advice, is pursue your passions. Like, when I was in high school, I was like, man, it'd be really cool to attempt to make YouTube videos. I grew up watching, like, Rooster Teeth and Achievement Hunter stuff, and I was like, man, that's fucking cool. I don't think I could make a career out of it. Like, I would love... A part of me is like, that would be so fucking cool to do. But it's not realistic for me. And now, in my 20s, I'm kind of doing that, and that's awesome. It took a little longer than I anticipated to do. So, but it all comes in time, right? Like, life happens. Like, you graduate high school, you go off to college, you graduate from college, you get a job. The pandemic happens, and it fucking derails your entire life and your plans. So, there's that. But yeah, guys, that's really all I've got for tonight. I really do appreciate every single one of you that comes and hangs out every week, or attempts to hang out every week, depending on the internet connection and what state I'm in. Because it's a lot of fun to sit and play D&D or talk about D&D with like-minded folks who like this sort of stuff. I'm going to be streaming tomorrow, Wednesday, back to my regularly scheduled programming of maybe Rainbow Six Siege or Overwatch or something like that. I really got to figure out tonight or tomorrow what the fuck I'm going to do. So be sure to check out that if that's something that interests you. Share it with a friend. Send it to mom, dad, brother, sisters, your enemies, whatever. Feel free to like this channel, follow it, go to our YouTube, same thing. It's Starboard_games right on YouTube. I have a TikTok as well, and it might not be everyone on the Discord that's in that. It's mostly me. But it's a good place for people to go and check out updates and stuff like that. Also, too, if you're ever interested, you guys can join the Bird's Nest Discord, which is my personal Discord for people who want to follow the stream and stuff like that. It's another good place for kids to get, or people to get updates on events, streams, D&D updates. You can also send me your questions about D&D or the party or about life in general. D&D advice, whatever you want, right on the Bird's Nest, which I can get right now. Where is it? Discord, right there. I have a link tree too, which you guys can check out all the time, anytime. You can access all of our links right there. Same with the Discord. But yeah, guys, that is pretty much all I've got. Ian, if you want, I'll send this to you. Because I know you'd probably really appreciate this. But yeah, guys, that's all I got. Next week we will be meeting for our next session. So feel free to swing by for that. How do I whisper? If you ever want to keep up on Discord, my dude. Oh, it looks like it crashed, but that's okay. But yeah, thanks guys so much for coming and hanging out as always. Like I said, be sure to like, share, follow this stuff, and I will see you all tomorrow. And hopefully by next week, our Discord will look a little different. But okay, until next time, y'all. Peace out.